Hi, Doc Ria, you're on mute.
Am I muted from the very beginning?
Yes, you're mute from the very beginning.
From the very beginning, okay?
Repeat from the start.
Okay, so pasensya na. Medyo natatawa lang ako. Everyone, good evening. I'm muted pala from the very beginning. So, good evening everyone and welcome to my channel, Dr. Ria Liza, and of course, I am always at your service. And this channel is meant to promote the feminine genius advocacy. Our membership packages are the attributes of a feminine genius. So we have humility, kindness, patience, good character, industry, virtue, piety, and devotion. And as a feminine genius, I spread lesson by featuring people from my network of any gender to share their personal journeys, their challenges, and their breakthroughs. Because we believe that listening to other people's story is called humility and sharing is called generosity. We are somehow influenced by the lives of other people, which we can apply to our own selves so that we can be a better version of ourselves. Life is short, and let us live our lives to the fullest. And while we're waiting for my forever co-host Ella Ones, let me first introduce our director for this evening because we will be launching something. We'll be launching the new branding of the Feminine Genius. Let's have our guest before, no? Tawag natin sa kanya, Agos Maharlika. Let's welcome Bon Labora.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
Bon. Medyo ano lang.
Nanibago ka lang.
Yeah. Naninibago. Naninibago sa umpisa. Magsha-shoutout ba muna tayo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me shout out. Ang unang-unang nakikita ko dito sa aking screen, I see Fishing King channel, of course, Jean. Hello, Jean. And of course, we have Sujina. Hello, Sujina. Padala tayo ng mga ninja. We have, of course, Team Helpful. I think it's either AR Zante or Young Loves. Hello sa iyo. And parang bago, Tambok nga Sexy. Ang ganda ng pangalan, Tambok nga Sexy. Hello sa inyo. Okay. And we have Provinciana in Australia. Hello po. Thank you for dropping by. Hello, Javier Centeno. Hello, Provinciana in Australia. Salamat for dropping by. Thank you sa nasa Facebook user. Hindi nag-a-appear yung name, okay? Because kailangan i-allow nyo sa StreamYard na what you call this, na marinig, ilitaw yung name ninyo. Hello sa lahat ng nasa Facebook. Okay. Thank you sa lahat ng ating mga viewers. Yes, Bon, nahulog ka ba? Ako ba magpapasok sa'yo sa loob? Yan.
I'm just here, ma'am.
Okay. So again, guys, no, we will still have the same flow of our show for tonight. Our guest will come in at 10 p.m., which is kasi nasa US siya, no, so iba yung time zone niya. Sa atin ay siguro sa kanya 10 a.m. yun, no. Okay? So I hope that we'll be having a lot of viewers pamaya-maya. By the way, Bon, we will be having viewers, or some of our viewers will be based in US, and they are foreigners. So our guest requested us to speak English all throughout. Kawawa si Ella mamaya.
Dudugo
Dumugo ang
lang.
kanyang
Dudugo
ilong.
yung ela.
Yeah, oo. Yeah, okay. So we still have the same format pa din later, no? So we have the guest to give uh, her story later, and super special ang ating guest because nasa second week tayo ng ating anniversary month. We're celebrating our first year anniversary. We started our live streaming last September 2020, and now it's our first year live on our live streaming. So this is September is our anniversary month. Kaya special yung mga guests natin. If you can recall, last week, first Saturday of the September, we did a lot of sing-along, di ba? Pag-good vibes tayo, yung story nung guest natin, si Mike Bautista, ikinwento niya with the songs that tells the story of his life, okay? And this time naman, a very special a person or guest will be with us. An actress, a beauty title holder, an entrepreneur. So mamaya natin lahat malalaman yan pag introduce natin sa kanya, okay? And then meron pa tayong 2 more remaining weeks, Saturdays for our anniversary month. And also guys, do not forget that we have our raffle. Teka, hanap lang ako ng banner. Okay, so this is our baka mali nakalagay. So we still have later our Pinoy Henyo. So kailangan you have to listen to our guests at magpapahula tayo ng words na na-miss out natin mag-Pinoy Henyo last week because na aliw tayo dun sa song ng ating guest, no? And then we will have a GCash for our Pinoy Henyo plus our raffle. Okay? So remember that for the raffle you need to screenshot a comment, no? A screenshot of the comment, and that a proof that you're also a subscriber. Attach that to the raffle entry. So in other words, for the whole September, you have 4 chances of having your raffle entries per person because you have to comment on the live streaming and screenshot that comment so that I have a proof that you comment, and then submit that on our link. Ito yung link natin. onlineraffle.ph.com/search_event. Mamaya, pag nandyan na si Ma'am Kat, ibababa niya yung link. O kaya kung nandyan si Mr. Phil, ibababa nila yung link para kiklik nyo na lang for you to register. Our raffle draw will be on the 4th Wednesday of the month. 4th Saturday. Sorry. 4th Saturday. Last Saturday of September will be a raffle draw. And what's stake for our raffle? It's a bike. So ipapadala na, we will just send it to your place when you won the raffle, okay? So please do not forget to screenshot your comments. Okay? And of course, you should be a subscriber of Dr. Ria Liza. Okay? For our new if you're new there, you're watching right now and you're not yet a subscriber, please, down below, down below. Click the subscribe and the notification bell. All right. So, napapansin natin parang may bago sa format natin, no? Okay, napapansin natin na medyo may nabago sa layout natin. Okay, because we're launching a new branding for the Feminine Genius. At mamaya magpapahula tayo kung ano yung tingin nyo dun sa bago nating brand, okay? So, are we going to discuss about the brand, Bon?
Ayan. Sure. Where do you want to start?
Share yung finally. Okay. Teka lang. Ayan, ay may mga nagko-comment na dito. Paki-screenshot yung iyong comment, okay? Paki-screenshot, okay. Sige, Bon. So, ipopost ba natin ang ating, or ito lang, magpo-post ba tayo ng malaking logo?
Okay. I have an intro video. So I'll show it
Okay.
first. Yon. Ma'am Maria?
Ay, sorry. Nakaano pala yung camera ko. That was nice, ha? Ilang seconds yun?
1 minute lang po yan. I created the video as a introduction para mapakita na the feminine genius is everywhere. Personal,
Parang
personal,
nag-stop siya
in the
eh,
community.
Bon. I think
Pwede
nag-stop
panoorin
siya,
natin
hindi
mamaya.
siya nag-run. Oo.
It ran. Nandun sa, you can view it in the YouTube. Pero dito sa StreamYard, hindi mo siya makikita. Unless na you can click
Hindi
on
siya
sa-
nag-run ng 1 minute or, oo, parang seconds lang ni-run niya.
1 minute po. Mhm.
Nag-stop kasi siya eh.
Okay. We can show it again later.
Oo.
Those are my
Okay.
kids. I'll show image. Do you want me to show them the new look of Feminine Genius?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is the new image of the Feminine Genius. A new font and new image. So, makikita nyo rin na, no, dun sa layout natin, nandun po sa top right. So, that's the new image of the Feminine Genius. And this is the only the blown up image, logo. Okay.
So, yung blown up, siya lang pinakamalaking size.
You can make it bigger. Ah, any way you want, ma'am. It's just this. So you can see now the layout of the show. Yan. Ang ganda ng ngiti ni Ma'am Rhea.
Ang ganda ng background eh. And of course, pansin nyo iba yung colors, no? So we have the combination. Actually, is this still 3 colors or
Yes.
apat na tayo? I think Ella once is here. We can introduce her first bago tayo mag-proceed. Okay. Hi, Ella!
Hi, Miss Ella.
Hello, Maria.
So, mag-hello ka na sa ating mga viewers.
Hello, viewers of Dr. Realisa. Good evening sa all of you. Sorry, I'm late. Ayan. Back to you, Ma'am Ria. Ayan, may kalab shoutout po sa lahat ng mga nandyan na po sa chat box na nag-shoutout. Ayan, sa lahat din po ng mga nag-shoutout po sa The Feminine Genius Live. Ayan, and sa Team Helpful po, shoutout po sa inyong lahat. Thank you for tuning in and please don't forget to call a friend para mas support po natin si Dr. Realisa. Back to
Okay.
you, ma'am.
Let's get the reaction of Miss Ella sa You Look. Miss Ella, what's your what can you say about the new look of the show?
And actually, mas gumanda yung background, no? May art. And I like the color combination ng Ria. Yung pink. And then, may logo na naman na bago. Yung Feminine Genius. Tama ba ako? Yung para siyang shoes.
Yeah.
Ayan. And yun nga yung
Papahula
lining.
natin yan kung ano yan sa audience natin. So lahat ng audience natin magpapahula tayo, may pag-games agad. Ang bilis ng pag-games natin, no? So, hello sa lahat.
I'll show the bigger logo para
Yeah, actually ang ganda, ma'am, kasi nandyan yung pangarap mo na symbol ng billionaire.
Okay, so this is the new look of our logo, new logo, no? Hello harang daw si Chof, my love. Hello sa inyo.
Hi,
So,
sis Joey, my love.
So guys, kita niyo yung logo, maigi. And then, paki-chat naman sa chat box. Anong mga nakikita nyong object or character or ano bang mga tawag doon, Bon?
elements.
Paki-type sa chat box ano yung mga nakikita nyong elements or object or look or character doon sa ating brand.
Maybe also, what can they feel? Anong na-feel nila nung makita na yung logo?
What can you feel daw when you see the logo? Paki-chat sa chat box. Anong nakikita nyong elements or object or figure or anything on our logo? And how you feel about the new logo? Paki-chat po sa chat box. Paki-chat sa chat box, syempre. Ayan, sabi ni Erlinda Cadillo, ang nakikita daw niya ay pink. Papadala na ba natin ng coffee yung mga nagko-comment? Pink! At sabi naman ni Chofi, my love, heels. And then, sabi ni another is unicorn. Yeah. Ano pa, guys? Ano pa na-form na object or elements doon sa ating logo. Ang ganda. And also, Ella, this is a better version a better subscription ng StreamYard. So, mas higher resolution to. Pansin ko lang sa higher resolution, parang siya, hindi mo niya papansin, parang may delay. May delay siya. Ayan, sabi ni Javier Centeno, nakikita niya ay violet. At ang nakikita pa ni Shopee World ay shoes.
The word feminine genius.
Yeah, the word the feminine genius, kung mapapansin nyo, pwede yung maging the feminine, pwede rin the genius. Yeah, it's a shoes, yes. It's a unicorn. Ano pa? Meron pa ba tayo ibang object na nakikita from our logo? Rock? Talaga, rock? Mukha ba siyang bato? Rock. Hello, Ronel Ramos. Hello daw, Ma'am Ella from Ronel Ramos.
Hi. Ay, actually, kaklase ko siya sa DIT. Nag-invite ako, ma'am. Thank you, Sir Ronel, for dropping by.
Hi, Ronel. Thank you for coming by. Mamaya ang ating host, ang ating guest is a startup mentor. All from US. Hello, Ronel Ramos. So, ano pa nakikita nyo, na figure doon sa ating logo? Ikaw, Ella, ano nakikita mo sa object?
Object. Teka ha. I think yung shape nung hindi ko ma-express, pero aside from the feminine genius and the unicorn and the shoes, yeah, tama yan si Sir Ronel, unicorn. Is syempre yung rectangle na object and
No, 'di ba ang ganda kung ganyan yung shoes natin. Papagawa tayo ng ganyang shoes So marami kasing meaning yung the new logo of the feminine genius has so many meanings. Okay? So una, it's shoes. Yes, it's a shoes because shoes is feminine. Diba? And if it's a high heels, tama din sinabi kanina ni Chof, it's heels. High heels shoes kasi parang it's a symbol of command, strength. No? Kapag kasi naka-heels ka, 'di ba yung mga babae, if you're wearing heels, you feel like you're strong. You possess or project an image of being made, sabi nila, pag daw naka-heels, made ka. Okay? And then, sheep for unicorn. Yeah.
yes.
And then,
formality
sheep for
daw
unicorn.
sabi sa trophy.
Blooming podok. Oo nga, no? Blooming. Nakaka-bloom pala yung maganda kasi alam nyo kung bakit nagmukhang blooming dahil high resolution ang ating StreamYard ngayong araw na to. Nag-bloom din si Ella once. High res tayo ngayon, high resolution.
Brain Bruce Channel.
Hello. Sabi ni Chof, it's formality, formal. Or say, ano ba another word for formal?
Corporate
Sincere
attire.
or serious or may maganda yung and then there's another figure daw, trumpet. Nice. You have seen the trumpet. That's one, no? Trumpet. we're getting kasi different different non-obvious sa figure, but yeah, trumpet is okay. So if it looks like a trumpet, then it's like how do we give equivalent or symbol for a trumpet sa isang feminine genius? Trumpet.
Yung may magandang sinabi si Sir Ronel Ramos, Mamo, about
Yeah.
your unicorn.
Oh, sabi ni Ronel, "Hi sis Rain Rose. Unicorn symbolizes purity, freedom, divinity, and magic." Wow, ganda. Yeah. Because I really love unicorn because that's the aim of myself to become the future Philippine unicorn. Konting konting himas-himas. At saka I actually yung guest natin mamaya, startup mentor, I discussed with her. Nakipag-meeting ako sa kanya until 12 midnight yesterday to discuss about this unicorn path, the unicorn route. Paano ba maa-attain ng unicorn route na yan? Thank you, Ronel. Unicorn pala is purity, freedom, divinity, and magic. Can we associate the unicorn with the horse? Because the horse is a lucky symbol, right? Lalo daw yung horse na nakaganon yung paa, no? Na siya, prosperity, tama yon. Ay, wala kasi prosperity dito. So, might as well symbolizes also prosperity aside from purity, freedom, divinity, and magic. And the freedom, gusto ko yung sinabing freedom kasi pag a-unicorn, you're going to a unicorn path route, talagang ang tawag doon, freedom talaga yon, no? Because you can practically do everything you want. Freedom. At saka, ngayon ko lang din nalaman na ang unicorn ay divinity, which is saktong-sakto sa ating membership packages, yung attribute ng feminine genius. No? We have yung yung ating 8 attributes of a feminine genius. Very divine and magical. Yeah, it's very magical. Sometimes, when you know you're reaching a feminine unicorn status, parang it's really magic. Sa totoo lang, Ronel, you know what? A unicorn is a mythical character. It's a magical character. It's like something that is not existing, something like it's a dream, it's a myth, no? Kaya that's why there are only few unicorns, or real branded unicorns in the world, no? Kasi masyadong mythical ang dating ng pagiging unicorn. Sometimes the valuation of a company, example, you're valued as a unicorn or $1 billion peso valuated startup, mythical din yung figures, no? Kasi the unicorn, or the valuation of a unicorn sometimes relies on the willingness of a person to buy your company or other company to buy your company. That's your valuation, no? That mythical figure that another company would want to buy your company, or the value of your company. Mas ma-explain yan. This will be explained better later by our guest. Ella, di mo napapansin medyo iba yung message sa ilalim?
Actually, pansin ko siya.
Oo, yeah. Diba?
Kasi dati, di ba, parang kalat. Ngayon, very organized ang dating. So, ito yung highest resolution ng StreamYard. Tama ba ako?
Yes, pero hindi ko alam paano minamagic ni Bon yung gantong klase ng show. Kasi kanina hindi ganito yung tsura eh. Bigla na bago, di ba? Oo. Sana all high resolution yung StreamYard. Oo, sana all. Talagang, ang ganda pala pag high resolution, gumaganda kami. Nagbo-bloom daw kami. Thank you teka lang, wait. Sisilip ko sa Facebook for a meantime. Nasa
sino yung Facebook user para maisama ko sa attendance?
Si Mami Tita Centeno is on our I think this is Facebook uh, page, no? Facebook page. Tingnan natin sa kabila kasi dalawa tayo. May page tayo, tas meron tayong page and what you call this? Groups. Tingnan natin. Groups.
Shoutout kay
Ah,
Rocky
nasa group siya.
Rofas. Hello.
And then dun tayo sa page. Okay. Okay, so ang ganda talaga ng high resolution. Yes, tama ka, Chof. Ang ganda ng high resolution. Sana all daw. Mega love, shout out po sa lahat. Good evening. Hello, Ma'am Kat. Medyo na late ka ha. Hindi ka first honor yata ngayon ah. Hello, sis. Sis Rain Rose, thank you for the support. Our guest later is also from US. Okay. She's based from US. Yes.
Wow, sana all based on ano lang.
Here's another, oh yeah, sana nga all. Here's another, figure. It's a musical note. Nice. Kanina is like trumpet and a musical note. So it's like something giving like a song or very good yun pag, diba, pag a feminine genius, you're like bringing in joy kasi trumpet, di ba? Pag may trumpet, diba? Yung trumpet kasi, di ba, it's an announcement para may i-announce na maganda, no? I don't know kapag yung announcement pangit, pareho ba yung tunog ng trumpet para magkaiba? Di ba? Pag sad yung ina-announce, dapat iba yung tunog ng trumpet. Pag maganda yung i-announce, maganda rin masaya yung tunog ng trumpet. And the musical note, singing, di ba? Relaxing. Maganda, yes. Thank you for that. Sipa, keep telling us or what's your observation? What is the element that you can see in our new logo? Okay. We have from Erlinda Cadilo, ang sabi niya trumpet. Yeah, trumpet. Pareho kayo ni Javier Sentence, say trumpet. And then we have allegory. Hi, hello, allegory. Okay, anong tingin mo sa figure ng nasa ating bagong branding? And Mix Vlog, sabi niya, the Feminine Genius Post. Punta raw kayo dyan. I-click ba nila to? Ano ba meron doon? Andun ba yung ating paraffle? I-click daw ito. Okay? Are we going to click this? Mr. Phil? Ganda daw ng logo. Yes, it's a very good logo. Bagong-bagong mukha yan ng Feminine Genius, Ma'am Kat. We are launching our new branding. And Rocky Cleopas. Hi, Rocky. Hello. From Lyceum of the Philippines. Full HD 1080p StreamYard Pro. Oo. Ito ba yung Pro? Sorry ah. Pinipili ko, hindi ko alam kung Pro yung tawag ko dito. I don't know if this is Pro, Rocky. But, if there is, meron pa bang itataas tong resolution na to? I don't know. Ito na ba yon? Hindi pa to yung full high definition? I don't know. Yeah, waiting for Tammy. Tammy will be coming in at 10 p.m. Siyempre, ever supporter. I think marami magsusupport kay Tammy because classmate yan ni Rocky, no? Magka-batch ba kayo, Rocky? Ganda din ng thumbnail. Yeah, of course. Sumama yung thumbnail doon sa branding natin. At saka mamaya meron pa tayong meron pa tayong mga what you call this? Mga mga iba-ibang mga itsura kung saan inilagay natin si Feminine Genius. Are we coming up also with different color Bon? Kasi these colors, this is, okay, hulaan nyo guys, ilang color yung Feminine Genius logo? Ilang color yung Feminine Genius logo? Paki-type. Ilang logo ang ating feminine genius? Ilang color? Titignan ko yung mga iba.
So, lahat ng abot, kasi these colors, this is,
Okay. Ikaw pala yan, Rona. Ronaldin Caballero, hello. Thank you, blooming daw si Doc. And of course, May Passion, syempre. Si May pa ba, of course, supporter number 1 ng ating guest later, no? Labas na labas ang ganda nyo, ma'am, sa high res. Yes, thank you, thank you. Parang gusto ko na mag-high resolution forever and ever. Parang gusto kong bilhin yung sinasabi ni Rocky Cleopas na high definition. Hindi ba to yung high definition? May mas high pa ba dito? Baka pag sa nag-high definition, sobrang ganda na natin doon, Ella. Bili natin yun ngayon, now na.
oo, unicorn ka naman eh. Kaya yan.
Thank you, Maymay. Actually, hinihintay ko yung, syempre, tatlo kayong super close last time ni Tammy, di ba? Si Gina Lynn. Hinihintay ko mag-appear ngayon. Nag-guest natin si Tammy. Another, shoes and unicorn. Yes, it is a shoes and a unicorn. Yes. Baka may nakikita pa kayong other. Okay, eto yung mga sagot do sa color. Saglit, basahin ko lang muna iba pa. It's a zodiac sign. What kind of zodiac sign is it? Sige nga. Can you tell me, Javier? Can you type later what kind of zodiac sign can you see in our figure? Allegory says it's parang shoes. Yes, a part of it is a shoe to represent femininity, right? And the high heels, di ba? To present strength, command. Sabi ni Ma, showbiz lang, combined color of pink and violet shoes with unicorn. So pag sinabi pink and violet, ang sagot mo ay 2. Okay, tingnan natin kung anong tama. Sagot mo, Ma, showbiz lang is 2. Ang sagot ni Ma'am Kat is 3. Ma'am Kat, if you can see 3, can you tell me what are those 3? Ma, showbiz, oh yes, sabi mo 2. Showbiz, love, my love is 2. And Ronel, it's 2. Yung sumagot ng 3, Ma'am Kat, can you tell me what are the colors? Sabi ni Allegory, purple refers to the feminine meaning wholeness. Yes, exactly. Actually, Allegory, the pink is the feminine and the genius is the purple. Do we call it purple or violet? Paki-clear nga ito, Bon. Is it purple or violet, no?
Same lang
Okay,
yung purple and violet.
Magkapareho ba sila? Tingin ko kasi kay purple is a darker. Ang tingin ko kay
So it's
purple.
violet.
Yeah, wholeness. And then sabi ni Javier, there's 5 colors. What are those 5 colors that you can see? May 5 colors ba yan? Kasi sabi, si Ma Showbiz kasi nagsabi na siya ng blue and, pink and, pink and violet para kay Ma Showbiz lang. Pero yung iba kasi nagsasabi ng 3 and 5. Can you tell me what are those colors? Hello, Batgirl, May Force from Team Helpful. Hello, good evening sa iyo. And then, it's Capricorn ba? What is the birthmark of a Capricorn? Na-curious ako doon. Bon, tingnan natin. Baka mukhang Capricorn ba yan? I don't know what's the birth month of a Capricorn. Sabi ni Chof My Love, it's Taurus. Taurus is May. Diba? Bakit yung Taurus, alam ko kung ano yung kanyang it's May. I don't know lang yung scope nung baka siguro last part of April to. Kasi ang Taurus, Toro. Mukha bang Toro si Unicorn? Ako, naghahawik Toro si Unicorn. Although, I hope that the Taurus has a very good meaning as well. And then, sabi ni Javier, it's a horse. Because the unicorn, can you tell me, kamag-anak ba ni horse ang unicorn? I'm just curious. Magkamag-anak ba talaga sila? Hindi ko sure. Ayan, na sinasabi ni Showbiz is Pink and Violet. And sabi ni Kat, it's pink, red, and purple. Very good. Sana tama. Tama, no? Yes, it's tama, Bon. Diba? I hope it's tama. It's 3 colors. It's 3 colors. We have the violet, tama, the violet, the pink, the red, the purple. The red is transitioning. I think tama ba? Bon, paki-explain nga yung colors.
Yes, it's pink, red, and purple. The red is the one that is in between and connecting the two. So makikita nyo rin dun sa dito sa text na the is the red, feminine is the pink, and genius is the purple. The shoe is pink to red, and the unicorn is red to purple. Yan.
It's actually the red that transition, no, from being a pink to violet. Tama ba yon?
Yes, it connects. It connects the two.
It connects.
Because red means passion or fire, that na merong quality yung dalawa, the feminine and the genius.
So, sana po next week meron tayo ibang variation ng colors, but this is the original color. No? Anong tawag natin kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng variation ng color? Anong tawag doon?
We can have the basic color, which is all white and all black. So we can have it in different. So we'll create different backgrounds for white and different backgrounds for black also.
Because katulad halimbawa ng Coca-Cola, no? The Coca-Cola, yung white na Coca-Cola, tapos red yung background, and then the red Coca-Cola and then white yung background are all the branding of Coca-Cola. And I don't know wala namang black, di ba? So branding nila yon, no? May ibang
meron silang black kapag
may black din.
Pag lalagay sa logo na all black yung kasama, so nagba-black sila.
Okay. So ganun din sa atin para may different color kasi depende sa kanyang pagdidikitan, no?
Yes, depende sa environment.
Because I wanted to show the different kasi yung pinagdikitan natin ng logo. Kung meron ka diyan ng mga pictures na yon. So baka meron kang pictures habang binabasa ko yung ibang mga comment. Wow, ang galing ni Sir Bon, sabi ni Ma'am Kat. Yes, Erlinda Cadillo, you're correct that it is 3 colors. And then Bon says it's not violet, it's purple. Chinese zodiac sign. In Chinese zodiac sign, of course, is there zodiac sign kaya yung Chinese na yan? Purple yata kasi light violet. It's purple, right? Purple yung sinabi, di ba? Purple. Teka lang, wait. Purple nga ba? Ako masyado nalilito ko sa purple. It's purple. Oh, it's purple. Sabi ni Ma'am Kat, Taurus. Okay? Tignan natin kung it's taking like a shape of Toro. And sabi ni Allegory, January to mid-February ang Capricorn. Oh, nice. Sila pala yung parang umpisa of the year. Taurus ako. Ay, Chof. Okay, Taurus ka pala. May ka, May. May alam akong ugali ng Taurus, pero nagtatanim ng sama na loob. Yun ang alam kong may mga Taurus na gano'n, no? parang Chinese zodiac sign din po na ox. Ox. Ano yung ox sa Tagalog? Is it is it a is it the family of the cow? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the ox. Kung ano yung ox na yon. Capricorn, sabi ni Erlinda Cadilo. And then, congrats, Ma'am Kat. Galing talaga ni Ma'am Kat, syempre. Dapat nilinawan niyo yung inyong mata, no? Sabi ni Erlinda, it's purple, pink, red. Yeah, purple ring, pink, red, yes. Any other shape that you can see? Oh, may Virgo naman daw. Ma-showbiz lang. Ano bang symbol ng Virgo? Anyone? Can you say what's the symbol of Virgo? Bull yata is the ox po. So it's a bull. The bull is the family of cow. Cow talaga. Eh, teka lang, bakit ba pa-cow ng cow? Kasi kung ako yan, sasabihin ko beef. Favorite na ulam eh, beef. Ox. Bull. Matapang kapag ka gano'n, no? The feminine genius should be strong. Ayoko yung matapang na, well, aggressive could be. Aggressive is also a very good description. Sabi naman ni Ma-showbiz lang, Libra zodiac sign. Talaga, does it look like timbangan? Because the Libra is a weighing scale. I cannot see it a weighing scale. Tignan natin, nagbumukha pa siyang weighing scale. Two colors, it's actually, Ronel, it's 3. There's a red. Yung dada is red. Okay, it's actually 3. The logo is very okay. Thank you for that comment, Ronel. And then babae yung Virgo sign. Oh, yeah, what does Virgo means? Pag hindi ko, ano ba si Virgo? Babae pala si Virgo. It's nice. Virgo symbol is girl or lady with long hair. Oh, yeah, Virgo. Virgo is what month, guys? September pala ang Virgo. May sumasagot sa tabi ko. September daw ang Virgo. Sakto, September ngayon. Ah, nice September ang anniversary ni Feminine Genius. Tapos, Virgo is a girl with a long hair. Yeah. Pwede rin talaga siyang hair. Yes, it's a hair. Okay? Taurus is stubborn. They keep on forwarding according to this belief. Taurus is stubborn. Kawawa na may mga Taurus dito. Like,
Taurus po, present.
Taurus na siya doon. August 22 to September 22 is the Virgo. Okay? May pagka-August. And then, August 23. Okay. So, any other, I like the way that you see it's a hair. Yes, it's a hair. How about any other figure? Sige lang, guys. We want to see other figures that you can see that we cannot see.
I'll share, ma'am, the white. So,
Okay.
here's the color, original color. What it look like pag white. And what it look like
Nice.
pag black.
Oh. So, if it's white, black yung background. And if it's black, it should be like gold, right? Gold.
You can use the all black for any light background, and white naman for darker backgrounds.
Okay.
And then
Nice.
actually, the color you can use in both dark and light background.
Very nice. How about making it nude colors? I mean, the family of the neutral colors. The family of earth colors.
That
Parang
depends
Louis Vuitton.
on how you put it in an environment.
Maganda rin kasi yung merong new colors. We've got 8 minutes before we start. Or sabi dito, horse pwede rin. Horse pwede din sa Chinese. Sa ano ba yung horse? Anong zodiac sign? And dolls. Is it dolls? Can you still see other figures? I like this color, no, the neutral, the black and the neutral. Neutral yung background niya. Okay. I like this one. Sige, may hinintay akong meron kasi nakikitang figure dito. I'm just checking kung nakikita nyo rin. Ako kasi may nakikitang ibang figure. Sige pa, keep commenting the figures that you can see. Ganda mo po, ma'am. Nako, mas maganda ang lilitaw mamaya. No, ganyan ang nagawa ng mga high resolution. Yes. Nandiyan na ang ating guest nasa backstage, no? Ako ba'y nawala? I think or Ella and Bon, you're just, okay. And then, horse zodiac sign. A horse. Horse, or birth. Yeah, oo, horse. Ano pala to, yung birth, signs. Any other element that you can see? Any element that you can see? Wala na kayo makitang element?
I'll play the video again. You want it, ma'am?
Hindi nila. Sige, oo. Natatawa naman ako. Namumula ba ako? Yun yung effect yun yung effect ng background natin. 'Di ba? Kaya siguro parang namumula ako dun sa natin. Yeah, horse is passionate, dramatic, achiever. These are the characteristics of a horse zodiac sign. Very good with the horse. But of course, pagdating kanina binigay na definition ni unicorn, although they look the same. Okay. Okay. Hello, Tammy.
Hi!
So, are we going to introduce? Ayan, ang dami na nag-aabang sa'yo, Tammy. Unang-una na dyan si Rocky na nag-abang sa'yo. Okay.
Oh, hi! Francis, are you on? Are you watching? paramdam.
Yeah, my is already in Facebook, and the rest is here in YouTube. Okay, so I'll first know our guest for tonight. Okay. So of course our this is late night with Dr. Ria Liza featuring up close and personal with Miss Tommy or Tamara Ziharto. This is the feminine genius meets the startup mentor. Tommy went to University of Pittsburgh in USA, where she took a graduate school on business, master's on business administration. And in her collegiate, it's actually from the university where I've been for 18 long years, my beloved university. Tammy is a graduate of College of Computer Engineering from the Lyceum of the Philippines University. And of course, it is very known to all of us that aside from being in the engineering university or a graduate of engineering, Tommy also is a title holder. He was crowned Miss Earth 2004. And of course, after her stint as Miss Earth, she appeared in some of the films, no, as an actress, of
A
course.
few.
And right now, uh, Tommy is in the US, and she will explain her her pseudonym as a startup mentor. Very excitedly, me and Tommy are in the same space. So let me give the floor to the ever beautiful, of course, Miss Tommy Tamara Ziharto.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Dr. Ria or Professor Ria. She's my professor and taught one of the hardest courses that made a few of us cry and half of us fail. So it's very nice to be here. She actually is somewhat of a genius. Things that we could not readily understand, she understands. So I'm happy to have been her student back in my engineering days. After engineering, I became an entrepreneur, and that was my first foray into the world of entrepreneurship. And how I understood entrepreneurship back then was not fully baked. I had to go through an MBA program and understand the other definitions of entrepreneurship, and that's kind of the field that I grew to love and appreciate for all of the economic benefits that it brings to countries, towns, cities, you name it. These are the companies that create high-paying jobs and a lot of jobs, and so but before I fully jumped in with 2 feet into the whole economic development and entrepreneurship space, I went into banking first. I was doing data analytics within the marketing department of TD Bank. I was also in the strategy department of PNC Bank. Those are both North American banks. So you wouldn't have them there where you are. They're not quite global yet, but after that, I decided that what I really enjoy is being to help people, the community, a city, and having that direct impact into somebody else's life or business. I think that brought a whole new meaning to the word job or career, because I didn't really feel like I was working. So I've been very lucky to have encountered that space. And I combine my I don't know how many of you might know, but former beauty queens tend to become trainers of future beauty queens. And what I learned from that process of training to become one is the actual skill of how to motivate and train others. And so I apply that as well as the technical knowledge that you need to become a successful entrepreneur. And I combine it into the practice that I do now. I consult for economic development organizations. And Professor Ria, I think we're going to have to clarify a few terms that might be a little foreign because we're working from two different continents, and the entrepreneurship space here is pretty mature compared to how it is in Philippines. So economic development just means that there's infrastructure, and we can cover that too if you're interested. Infrastructure to help small businesses and startups. So all kinds of entrepreneurs. Where was I going with this? So I'm in the economic development space. I help community development, financial institutions, and economic development organizations train first-time business owners or first-time startup founders into all of the. I teach them all of the not only the technical skills but also the soft skills that they would need to deal with trying to find customers, talking to potential pilot clients, or how to approach executives, how to lead a team, things like that. Aside from the usual, the financial modeling, the market, their market segmentations, determining their competitive landscapes, having a unique value proposition, and all of that good stuff. So there's a lot of terminology that I just threw out. So if anybody has any questions, I think Dr. Ria and I can address it together. And she can translate what I'm saying into how to maybe put it in practice in your country. Dr. Ria, I don't quite have volume.
Said again.
Dr. Ria, your audio.
Okay, we're back.
That's always
We're
my
back.
problem. Take two.
Take two.
I have the same problem during the opening. This 9
Oh.
9 p.m. Yeah, I'm muted. I have talked long, and then I found out that I'm muted. By the way, I'm surprised that you're also in big data analytics.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
that's a buzzword here.
Okay. It's grown to be easier, I think, in recent times because of Tableau. It used to be that you would have to pull data from SQL, and then you'd have to clean it up through Excel. It was kind of a pain when I was in banking, but I think there's a lot of tech companies now, like Snowflake, that what they're doing is bringing somewhat of an automated organization and cleanup of data, and you can even set it up, I think, easier so that things will get automated. But of course, being as old as I am, I did it manually.
That's nice, though. Well, me and Tommy had a very good talk last night. It's last night in my time zone. By the way, Tommy, where are you now? Your
I'm in
place?
Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm in the Eastern New York time zone. We're all the same time zone in the East Coast.
So that's EST. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So yeah, um, we're talking. We've talked for about a couple of hours last night because we haven't talked for 2004. If that's 2004, no, it's almost 10 years or less than
Wow.
10 years or 8 years, right?
Awesome.
That was, that means so many kwento, so many story that missed out. Okay, so before we go into you being there in the startup space, perhaps the audience also wanted to know your journey when you're young, and I mean, what are these challenges, how you reached the status where you are right now.
Yeah, so my life has been pretty challenging. For those who don't know me personally, I'll just share because it is a different dynamic when you don't have as much support in your life. I actually never met my father, so my mom had to raise me. She was a single mom working 2 shifts as a nurse. My poor mother. So so from Tulsa at 9 months old, I was sent home to Philippines so that my grandparents can take care of me. And of course, working as hard as she did, we weren't always, financially okay. Like there had to be like some rough priorities. And so when I was there and I was in college, and I think she might be here. In the chat or joining us in the comments. Her name is Catherine. She actually saw me at a Jollibee, and she said, "Hey, do you want to become a model?" And I said, "I'm like, right now I'm stuffing my face with 2 Chickenjoys, and I don't think I'm gonna wait that you need." And so she's like, "We can do it." Like she was that first spark of I would say like motivation to kind of tell me that you can do that. Things that I don't even consider about myself as being doable. She started that. So if she's here, thank you so much. Her name I think right now is Mom Cat. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's her, but so that is what started me in modeling. It was Body Shots Cavite was the name of the competition, and I met some of my really good close friends through that. And there was a weekly competition, and if you placed in the weeklies, you could compete in the finals. And so during the finals, I only got second place, but being Catherine and the designer Michelangelo Afable, he passed away, but great designer. He said he always sees opportunity in us, in his. I don't know how he would say it, how you would translate it in English, but I'll just say, he regards us as his like children, I guess. And so he said that you may not win at modeling. It has to do with your features, your facial structure, the aura that you're able to project. Needless to say, was a nice way of saying you're no Tyra Banks. Maybe you'll do better in pageants. And so he sent me to apply for, or not me, but he got Tito Rogel. He's popular. He's the beauty queen maker of Philippines. He produces some of our winning Miss Universe candidates. Miss International Lara Kigaman is also a Rogel Flores girl, and so we're all very close. And so he submitted my application to the Miss Philippines organization, and so that's how I ended up being Miss Philippines. But it was right after I became Miss Lyceum, so it was modeling, and then Mutiana Cavite, which also Catherine was a big part of, and then it was Miss Lyceum, and then it was Miss Philippines, and then it was Miss Earth, which I didn't win. It was Priscilla Mireles of Brazil that won that competition. I would say that year was very tough. If it like the common feedback I get from that year was that if Priscilla and the rest, like if it wasn't the 2004 that I joined, I probably had a chance. But they were just like, that year we had such phenomenal candidates. That one was tough. Miss Philippines was tough too, but with enough training, and this is what I'll say with anything, with life, with anything, you have to train and you have to put in the work. Because God knows I'm not the prettiest, I'm not the tallest, not the sexiest, not anything, but it was the preparedness and the training that I was willing to go through, and that I was provided by Rogel Flores, Karen Agustin, and a whole bunch of beauty queens and others in the field that are involved, that was able to get me the skills that I need to be able to make it that far. So that was the whole pageant side. And because I became a beauty queen, suddenly my world started shifting. I started becoming a little bit more entrepreneurial. I realized that, and I wish this wasn't the case, that the starting salaries for engineers in Philippines was so small. I think back in my day, I can't even remember, it was like 10,000 pesos, like 200 something dollars to start in the engineering field for us when you graduate. And so that wasn't a viable track for most people when you have other options, and most people will go for the other option. So I wish that, and for us to be able to promote the field, I think the salaries for engineers, given that it's a 5-year very very difficult course to go through, we need to compensate people for that. um, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So after I became a little bit more entrepreneurial, I started my own e-commerce website. And that's when I realized that instinct was not enough to become a good business person. You need to know the technical skills that come with it. You need to know accounting. You need to know how to set up QuickBooks. You need to know your cash flow. You need to know strategy and tactics, and what are the differences between strategy and execution, and how to execute flawlessly, because one cannot live without the other. You absolutely need both. And it's also more difficult to be a single founder or a single business person without a team. You just don't have enough in the day. You don't have enough time to be able to execute properly on all of the different aspects of business. For me, one of the most time consuming, and this is why, like, I start to, when I see entrepreneurs becoming very overwhelmed, I always tell them that marketing and sales, especially marketing, is going to be one of those rabbit holes where once you start, it's going to be very difficult to get out and resurface from that. It's like you're buried up to your neck in marketing tasks. It's always going to blow up in your face. And so when you can start to afford it, try to hire like a dedicated marketing person, especially if you're going the route of social media and SEO, because those algorithms, you need a certain understanding. And if you want to take care of strategy, you can't also take care of all those little tiny details and setup. And so marketing was the bane of my existence when I was a business owner. It was trial and error. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. And somebody's coming. So my dog is rushing to, it's probably Daddy. You're gonna see my husband. He came from a 10-mile run. I don't know if he's gonna survive this. He's never run that far before. I don't know if he's gonna go through the garage, but he went through the garage, so we're not gonna see him. He knows I'm on a live stream. But yeah, so marketing was my challenge area. Also, I decided that I wanted to be a more effective business person. I wanted to really learn the ropes. I didn't want to get stuck and there's nothing bad about this. It's just, for me, I didn't want to do it for, any longer, because I was running my e-commerce business for 5 years then. I realized that I'm either going to stay this small business size, or am I going to take this and try to really grow and scale it? So the difference between the two, I realized that there was a huge kind of workings and dynamic that, was missing. And so I decided to get an MBA at the University of Pittsburgh, focusing on entrepreneurship strategy and finance. If I didn't take finance, I think my GPA would be higher, to be honest. But finance was very, very tough. I had great professors, but the material was just, but I stuck through it. I took derivatives. I took everything that you can possibly take within the MBA finance course list. And usually you'll take one finance class, in a semester, because it's so involved and sometimes so difficult, you'll get an assignment of like, a valuation. Pick a public company and do a valuation on it. And most of us will be like, what? How do you do discounted cash flow modeling? Because you only have like 1.5 hours of lecture with a professor, and then the rest you have to figure out for yourself. It's not spoon feeding at all when you're in your master's and higher. So I decided to, I was a little bit overconfident, because others have placed confidence on me in the past, and so I kind of little bit overestimated my capabilities there, and I would take like 2 or even 3 accounting/finance courses. And I think at the end of that semester, my husband now, but my boyfriend then, I would be just staring into space after the exams for days at a time. I'd be like, because my brain was just so overwhelmed. I still don't know how I passed everything, but yeah, he'll like, hey, did you eat? Let's go to that pizza place that you like. Maybe that'll spark some life back into you. It just sucked my soul. But the whole thing was just a great experience. It taught me the value of networking, of getting to know other business owners, getting to know alumni of the school, etc. So that was my MBA journey. And after that, I went into banking, doing strategy, then data analytics. And then I was approached by an economic development organization, because I don't know if you like going back a little bit during my MBA, my goal was to try and grow my own business. But that's when I realized that there was such a thing as the scalability aspect, which after having gone through a year, and this is where I am the entrepreneur in residence now, and I coach other businesses, is Ascender Pittsburgh. Ascender Pittsburgh's program taught me that what scalability was and what scalability wasn't. And my business, the way it was, and it had already been running for 5 years, it was not scalable. So I decided to, close it rather than waste any more time in something that wasn't going to scale to where I wanted it to go. Tough. That was a tough thing because that was my baby for 5 years. But it was a tough call. But I think part of entrepreneurship is knowing when to stop. When something isn't working, hard as it may be to accept emotionally, it's part of the journey. I hope others have better ideas that are, more scalable. But I was a case where, yes, I was making revenue, but when you run the numbers, when you run the opportunity, and that's where you get into the total addressable market calculations, the serviceable addressable market calculations, and all of the serviceable obtainable market calculations, it just wasn't going to work. So that was very long. I'm sorry about that. But I just wanted to see if anybody had any questions regarding that whole thing about an
Yeah, I
entrepreneurship
think
journey.
Catherine Reyes is your friend.
Yes.
Yeah, she's there. Her message is there on the screen. Forever classy. She's there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You know what? Usually when we have a guest, a lot of people is having comments here and there. Right now, I think all my viewers are gazing at you. They cannot comment. I think they're just gazing at you. Mama stroke. Hello, galaw-galaw. I mean, they're really listening to what you're saying. You know, of course, back then, no. What age do you start as a model?
It was 2003. It might have been 21. 21.
Oh.
And then I won Miss Philippines at 22. It was very short. It was very quick. I was surprised how quickly it progressed.
Yeah, because really of your asset is being smart. It's not. I mean, that's why the beauty is a plus factor, but the smartness that you have is different. Um, I don't know. That's how I look at you. No, you're like
Oh.
the filled with so many substance. So that's our title. It's filled with so many substance. Um, did you what are your stints after winning those contests? How's the
Yes,
industry?
within that field.
Yes. What happened to you after the contest? Like example, being joining the show business,
Oh,
etc.
okay. So yeah, I only did one movie. That was with Ronnie Rick. I'm not gonna say because people might watch it, and I don't even know if it's like it was on the lower budget side, I think. But I really enjoyed the cast and everybody on that movie. I got to experience how it was to make a movie. There was a few music videos, but my life really revolves around hosting. So there would be Samsung events, for example. Well, they'll have all of the CEOs from different parts of the world come in for a conference, and they'll display like their newly launched products. So I did like a lot of corporate events, and I did a lot of pageant hostings out of town. So I was flying everywhere, hosting pageants. I got to know some great people too. But I think most of what I had done, at least income wise, right? Because usually you get invited, and there's not always um, compensation because you're holding that title. You want to you know go to different schools and inspire young people also. So those things are not like projects, but most of the projects though are like, I think I did we one of the things I still remember, because I have it, I think, at my aunt's house in the Philippines, is we did a calendar for, I think it might have been NLEX, one of the highways, with all the beauty queens in traditional Filipino gowns for each month of the year. That was with Mama Rene Salud. So those were the mix. Oh, I also still did runway, because during modeling I was doing runway. So that was kind of the mix of what I was doing, but mostly hosting, pageants host, corporate events host. Um, yeah, sometimes parties.
Yeah, Tami, not all girl, of course, of course, all girls wants to be Miss Philippines. No, that's everybody girl's dream, of course. Um, there are only I don't know, 0.1% of lucky girls like you would have the chance, to have the title. What advantage give it had given you compared to an ordinary girl that doesn't have those titles?
What did the like pageant give me as an advantage in my life, kind of? Or yeah, so I think it gave me, but this is something you can get with or without pageant training. um, the ability to be a little bit more vocal, to try to lead, just the confidence to do all of those things. Because I think Filipinos, especially women, tend to be on the shy side. I also used to be very timid. So it was that whole experience of, um, getting up on stage and then trying to answer a question within like 60 seconds with a fully flushed out answer from start to finish. That actually is not easy. It's very, very hard, because some of the questions can be very general. And so, trying to answer something like that with confidence was, one of those things that it takes a lot of training. And while you're training, it's building up the confidence. So I think trying to build up your confidence, but also trying to improve yourself. And what I mean by that is it's a constant it's a constant improvement in terms of skill sets, in terms of how you interface with people, um, and having the confidence that your ideas are worth something. Because if you had a choice, like if you're in a meeting, for example, you could choose to be silent or you can choose to express yourself. And the more you express yourself, the more it trains you on how to talk to people. So I think that's kind of what pageants have shown me, is how to build that progressively. It's not going to come within one day. In my current field now, what I'm learning is that client interaction. Um, Without the MBA, I think I wouldn't be able to be as conversant as I am with the clients, and the economic development organizations wouldn't approach me. So it's a combination. The knowledge is there, yes, but you also need to be able to display that you have the knowledge in a way that people can absorb it, in a way that they'll have confidence and trust in you. That I think is a lifelong skill that, if we can aim to improve as individuals, especially for women, um, then you'll just be so much better off. Like, options, I think, will open up for you, as opposed to thinking that I'm stuck here because this is what I can do.
Yeah. So meaning Tami, it doesn't really matter if for every girl, no, every girl has opportunities, right?
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, oh my God, if you ask Catherine, and like, I'll let her type it. Like, when, like, she can tell you all about how she met me, how I look like. Like, I I'm an introvert and I am an engineer, and that is not the beauty queen persona. Beauty queen persona is, you always think that you're the most beautiful person in the room. That is not me. I am the very nerdy person in the room. I am the one that will not approach other people. It takes a lot to get yourself out of that shell. So every girl can do that with enough training, with enough exposure. But you have to put yourself out there. You have to take risks. If you don't like public speaking because you're deathly afraid of it, go do more public speaking. Go join Toastmasters. It's what, like, every girl has the opportunity to be something that they don't think is possible for themselves. You just really, really need to work at it. I didn't think I could be an engineer, but the engineering department helped me and taught me that, that we could do it. I didn't have enough confidence in my own mental capacity, but it's a lifelong thing. You have to keep doing something to improve yourself. In whatever facet. It could be your skill set, it could be your personality, it could be your confidence, it could be the way you talk to others, it could be any soft skill.
Yeah, that was nice, no? Maybe later, Tommy will show us the Miss Universe, the Miss Philippines walk,
I don't know how to walk anymore.
and also, and also, Tommy, of course, you they call it the Miss Philippines answer, no? I just couldn't imagine how you smartly response to any question that your clients or your other people will throw on you, because you have training on answering those practically any questions.
Yeah, any question. And you have to make it sound impactful or entertaining.
Beauty queens like you have a very deep sense of community involvement, right? In your case, how do you expose yourself to service or community works?
Yes, so that's a great question. So in my case, I use my knowledge to get involved in. So, for example, um, there's a community development organization here, not here in Pittsburgh, and there's also a government funded type of organization. They're called, like, for example, this is just an example, Urban Redevelopment Authority, for example. That that's the city's money, or the county or the state, I forget which one, being invested into startups. So these are, like I said, these are a lot of times for first time startup founders. I was part of the committee that decides where the city should invest, who's ready to receive investment. And that's, of course, unpaid, but that's very purpose driven type of work, because you're helping the community improve itself by creating jobs, by creating companies. And you need a committee of experienced people to be able to decide, which one do we think will have a good rate of success in creating jobs, high paying jobs, not just any job, high paying jobs that can support families, which business has the potential to do well given the personality of the team members. Because really, when you're putting money into a business, they're really looking at you. Who's your team? Who are you as the CEO and founder? Do we think that you have what it takes? Sometimes very young people are surprising because they are mature, well above their years, and they've gone through some experiences. Um, but usually it tends to lean towards people who are trying to solve a problem in their own industry, in a subject matter that they know. Because imagine trying to solve an HR problem if you're not an HR person, or trying to solve um, a productivity problem if you don't understand what productivity means. So, or a graphic design problem if you're not a graphic designer. So it's going to be very, very difficult if you're not in the industry. One, you won't have the subject matter expertise. Two, you won't have the industry connections that can help you build your company. Um, so we look at all of those aspects. How competitive is their landscape? If there are 200 competitors in the field and it's very hard to stand out, then you're going to be a commodity. And who really wants to build a business that's based on price alone? Because that's what you'll have if you have a commodity type business. So you want something that adds value, and you have to understand what that value is. And us, the committee, will discuss all of those things and help the city make decisions on where they should invest their funding. And it's not only that, there's also nonprofit organizations that are, funded by foundations, or sometimes also funded by the government, that will provide funding to small business owners. And so there's always an application and award criteria that we look at in somewhat of an there's the same common elements, no matter what industry, no matter what business, that a founder and a business should have to be able to receive funding and to be ready to receive funding. Because imagine if you just had an idea today and you got suddenly $100,000, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to spend it wisely? What are you even trying to do? Have you validated that idea, or are you going to fail? So there's like all of these steps and all of these like background criteria that each of us has a different way of processing, because different individuals, different experiences, but we all get together and we all decide together. So that's kind of how I involve myself in the community, but also helping the entrepreneurs one by one-on-one through those organizations. So let's say they accepted somebody's application to be part of a cohort to improve their business. I'm the one who coaches them one by one.
Okay. So Tammy, how long is your MBA in the US?
It was a 2-year full program, full-time MBA, because there's part-time. If you have a business background, it can be as short as 1 year plus, or 1 year. But I didn't have a business background. I had an engineering background, and so my program was 2 years. I was required to do a full year.
Actually, I took your comment or your reaction a while ago when you said you don't know how you were able to finish those financial
Yes.
subjects. It's so difficult.
It's really
Me, I
hard.
cannot understand the ratios.
Ah, The ratios are actually easier. You know what's really hard with financial modeling and the most time consuming? And again, I encounter this with entrepreneurs. Are their assumptions? Are the assumptions believable? And how do your assumptions translate into the opportunity? That's the part that people can't seem to get over the hump. Um, and the way my coaching works is I ask them a whole bunch of questions. I try to process all of the answers, and I come to them with like, okay, it sounds like this is what you want to do, and I push them with the questions. How can you make that happen? Once you make that happen, how is your funnel built? So let's say you are an architectural firm. How do you get clients? Okay, you attend conferences and trade shows and all of that. um, how do you calculate what you can get in terms of interest in a day? Well, let's start calculating that by the number of hours you're going to have the booth. How many people are you going to have in your booth, and how many people can you talk to within the span of the day? So now you have a smaller set of potential opportunity, that pool. And then how do you take that, funnel that down even further into actionable things? So once you have, the 200 people that you talk to, um, what's the next step after that? Okay, well, they call me because I gave them a brochure or something and I provide them a code. Okay, so usually when you attend a 3-day conference, how often does that happen? What's the translation between that whole pool into the active kind of conversation that's happening? So you have a conversion rate, and it could be 5% of everybody you talk to, could be 1%, could be 10%. That's why I encourage entrepreneurs to get out there, try to sell your product or your service so that we can have some informed assumptions. Because without those informed assumptions, if you go in front of an investor and they ask you, okay, how are you building your client pipeline, and you have no answer, that means you haven't experimented enough. And so really building the assumptions part of the financial model, I try to base it on their reality. You could also base it on the growth rate to make things very, very simple. Oh, I'm going to grow 5% every month for the next 5 years, but we all know that that's not actionable. So I try to push entrepreneurs towards more actionable things that they can actually like execute on, so that when they see, okay, I'm going to have like, 100 clients interested over a span of 1 week, I can't actually handle that myself. So then it's time to hire somebody. So it all is very cohesive, coming together, but also very, very hard to measure in the beginning. But I tend to push entrepreneurs towards an assumptions basis that investors can say yes to, because they can tell you, yes, that makes sense. Because if you just give them a growth rate, they could be like, okay. And that's why most scalable businesses have a huge market, at least a $1 billion market. Because even if you don't want to do all of the experimental stuff, because it takes a lot of capital to build your product, an investor can decide to agree with you based on the really, really big market size, right? They can say that, oh, if this business only captures 0.1%, we'll still get our return back, right? So it's very, very difficult for an investor to invest in a company that has a small opportunity, because you will need a giant portion of that opportunity.
You
So
mentioned
it's
about
that.
the $1 billion market. Is that already defined as a unicorn?
I think if you have a total addressable market of $1 billion, you have the potential to be a unicorn.
Because our new logo there, when we were waiting for you, and while waiting for you, we tried to launch our logo, the Feminine Genius logo. And of course, the half of that, that's a shoe and the
Oh, oh, I like that. Are those heels, but also the unicorns like mane?
yeah. Because because me and Tamers talking last night about the Philippine unicorn. No, we know that there are a lot of unicorns in the U.S., Is the Kardashians unicorn? Will they be considered as startups? I just remember the Kardashians because who's that? Who's who's the Kylie? Kylie, the one with the makeup brand.
Yes.
She
Kylie
was
is
removed
business.
from the. Diba? She was removed from being a billionaire.
I think
Is
so.
she a unicorn?
So this is the like the difference between a true unicorn and a unicorn, because she already has a lot of backing from her family, from the popularity of her sister, the popularity of herself also. So she's a celebrity. I don't think she could be a unicorn based on how unique her products are. So when we think of a unicorn, it's mostly referring to the business. Does the business model have the capability to be a unicorn? And with her, possibly, because she has that business. But if you'll ask me, is she a unicorn, or is Kim Kardashian a unicorn just based on what they do, being like social media experts? I would say not really. They're just a very highly paid celebrity. But I wouldn't say that being being a very very much followed um, social media person has unicorn components to it, because at that point, a unicorn is really referring to use of funding and how you can grow investor funding, like how you can grow your business to return the investors money so that it can 7x or 10x in 5 years, or some 7 years, doesn't matter. But that's inherent in the business model. So you need a business to do that. And what they're doing, Kim Kardashian, is using their celebrity to endorse products. It's a kind of like a talent based professional fee, not really a business model unicorn that can return investor money 7x, 10x. You don't need investors for their type of business. So that's why I kind of remove them from, in my thinking, from a unicorn definition, because they don't need to take in funding and they don't have to return 10x to the investor. They could do this by themselves because of them being TV personalities. So, and Kylie's weird. She's a combination. If she was product alone with no Kylie the celebrity, I think her product will have a very very long time to market, to commercialization, because it's a very competitive field. But you added the celebrity to it, and suddenly it's kind of a unicorn.
Yeah, that's it. I'm actually about to say that it's the branding of being a celebrity or being a person who's popular, then automatically your product will sell good.
Yeah,
So it makes sense that you yourself, example, the person or the technologist or the person who's the inventor, should also try to build up his own branding,
yeah.
right?
Branding's very strong. I actually don't recommend people do any marketing without a strong branding first, because people need a place to identify with and to land. If they, for example, you're a founder, you don't have a website, there's no way for people to learn about you and learn and see, based on the design of this, based on the features of this, is this something that I think I need? So you need a really strong branding before you can get out there and market widespread, or even invest in marketing. Because one of the things that can happen too is you invest a lot of money in marketing but no branding, you won't stick. It won't stick. And you decide to rebrand years and years later, you're just going to confuse a lot of your target audience. And that happened, if I can share a case study. Um, if anybody's familiar with JCPenney, they're a huge mall chain here in the US. And their target audience is really like middle-aged women who likes to use coupons and discounts. They know how to do that. The store layout is kind of like a treasure hunt. There's like 70% off, 50% off there. This one is buy one get one free, whatever. But that's their target audience, and they tried to be after decades of being that, catering to that target audience. They tried suddenly to attract millennials and to be more hip and to be more young. So they kind of alienated the decades long audience and loyal shoppers that they've built, and they just kind of confused that whole segment, which their livelihood is based on. That is your market. And they didn't execute well to try to be more young and attract millennials and Gen Z. They removed all of the discounts. They just did like low pricing all throughout. They restructured the entire store to make it more to what they were thinking as would be attractive to younger people, but it didn't work. And so at the end of the day, they didn't have an identity. They weren't attracting anybody. They alienated their old market, and they didn't quite connect with their new market. So in the end, they kind of lost in the whole space. So that's why you need really strong branding and really strong targeting. Like, who's your audience to be able to make it when you're doing widespread marketing. Otherwise, you're investing in marketing and nothing is effective because your branding is weak. No, people are confused who you're trying to target. People are confused who you're trying to add value to.
Yeah, that's nice, no? So that's why you're telling us that before venturing into a very extensive marketing strategy, you have to brand first.
Yeah.
That's why
You
we're
have to
branding.
be recognizable. Yeah, you have to be recognizable. Like when people see you, they're like, "Oh, I know this brand." It's a brand. It's brand mileage. It's your brand identity. Like people need to know what you're about, and you can achieve that through the use of colors, fonts, content, all of that. And it has to be consistent all throughout, to your letterhead, to your business card, to your website, to your physical space. Everything has to be cohesive. Same color scheme, same design aspects, same everything. If you're trying to cater to mothers or who are having babies, baby blue, baby pink might be your colors, and you have to consistently use that. So yeah, branding is a huge deal. Don't invest a lot of money in marketing if you don't have your branding in a place where you're comfortable with it and it represents who you are and what your business is.
Yeah. You know what? When I saw a very beautiful brand, or example, this one, a logo, all I can see in my head are products. It goes with a product, right?
Yeah.
You cannot, your brain tends to think of so many things that you want your brand to be affixed at, or or you put your brands on. By the way, Pami, in the Philippines, of course, I've told you about one unicorn who is no longer a unicorn anymore. But the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines announced a unicorn in the Philippines, which is a foreign company. It's called TaskUs.
Oh, okay.
So I just
What do they do?
I'm not really familiar, but I have got friends who's working in the TaskUs. Is this a BPO? Anyone? Baka si Rocky. Maybe Rocky knows what's TaskUs. I'll try to type it. I have friends who's working here. Yeah, it's a BPO, right? That's why I know that TaskUs has so many branches around the world, and I just wonder why they become a unicorn in the Philippines. Well,
Yeah,
they said
it's weird.
yeah, their definition of unicorn really is not about being a national from the Philippines. It's a company that operates in the Philippines. It's a unicorn.
And
And
that can just grow.
yeah, in the Philippines, no, way back 2019, there were two enacted laws about startup. It's just a beginning, no. This is just the first time that the government that given emphasis on startup. We call it the Innovative Startup Act and the Philippine Innovation Act. So that was April 2019. It was a very long public hearing regarding the finalization of the IRR, or the implementing rules and regulations. And then right after it was signed, there's pandemic. That's why we still cannot feel we still cannot feel the Startup Act that they're telling us, because according to the Philippine government, this Startup Act is meant to facilitate, of course, the startups, to make the business easier, and the process easier, and to identify different funding that is possible for startup.
Yeah.
We just have a definition of startup, and I want just to confirm if this is also the way you you define there in the US. No, in the Philippines, startups are defined as companies or juridical person. So that person can be a sole proprietor, a corporation, a association, etc. A juridical person who is engaged in uh, products, processes, and business models. So there's the word innovative products and processes.
Yeah.
Startup, yeah. So
It
there's no
has to
definition of
be.
time, concept of time in the startup.
Oh, okay. Um, it depends on the industry. So to a sense, I kind of agree, but also not so much, because you can claim to be a startup for 20 years. And I think, at that point, you can't call yourself a startup anymore. Except if you're in pharmaceuticals and medicine, because those things take a lot of research, a lot of trials, and they can be very lucrative. Um, but even in those fields, I think 10 years is pushing it. So to me, you're still a startup if you there's also the funding component. You're a startup if you haven't raised your series A or your seed funding, I think. Actually, no, up to series whatever, you're still a startup, but you have to raise that in like quick succession. So it's not like you're raising that over 20 years, I think 10 years might be the sweet spot, and then you go become a public company. So to me, there is a time component. It's not necessarily 5 years or 7 years, and it depends on the industry. But I can't regard a company that cannot return investor money for 20 years. That, like, to me, that's not really. You should be a mature company by then. I think you're a startup if you're like. I don't even want to say 10 years, because I want to take the medical field out of it. 7 years and lower, I think, is what I would think of as a startup. And by 7 years, you would have already, have your series funding in your arsenal by then.
Yeah, and you're saying that the funding could be series A to series so many, whatever,
Yeah.
indefinitely.
I've seen a series
So
D. So
yeah, because when you say series A, B, C, D, these are your funding rounds. I mean, these are, so the moment there's a new funder that comes into your company, that's a series.
no, a series has multiple funders. So let's say your series A, you're trying to raise several $1 million. Like, let's say your series A, you're trying to raise $2 to $3 million. That can come from multiple different venture capitalists, and it's all going to be done in one round, so that there's one set of terms. Because imagine if you raised money from 10 venture capitalists and they all had their different terms. It's going to be very expensive and difficult to manage. So for the money and the legal fees to be efficient, it's usually one set of terms for these. The terms might differ slightly, but usually it's the same situation for everybody.
Yeah. So we start example no. you start as a example inventor, researcher, etc. Then you bootstrap. Bootstrap is spending your own money, right?
Yes.
And then from the bootstrap, we can now ask for a seed fund. There's a seed fund meaning still in the research stage because
Idea and research stage, that would be your pre-seed. Pre-seed
oh, proceed.
would be the latest round, because you can have grants, you can have angels, and then you can have pitch competitions, even award money from pitch competitions, and then you go on to do your pre-seed, and that's the latest you can have, I think, for an idea stage company with no revenue, pre-revenue. That's what I
Yeah,
mean by
no
idea
revenue.
stage is pre-revenue. Once you're getting revenue and you're able to use the pre-seed money, use it all up, you have a, in the pre-seed you should have a complete team already, I would say, because investors don't want to take on any additional risk if they don't have to. And the way you de-risk is you perform some customer discovery. It doesn't have to be revenue generating, but you have to at least have spoken to your potential customers to validate your idea, have some letters of intent, have some pending contracts or something, even if there's no transaction. Um, and then you go on to raise your pre-seed to fund further development so that you can close on those contracts in your seed round. And your seed round usually is in the millions. Your pre-seed might be $500,000. At least that's kind of how it is here. It could be even higher. It could be a million. Right now, I'm seeing more million numbers. In the past, it was like 500K was enough. But, tech talent has become so expensive these days that when you present to investors and your marketing budget is $20,000, they're going to say, you didn't measure this, did you? Like, you just look dumb because your marketing budget is so small and your tech talent budget is so small, and they know what those things cost. So if you have to make your ask realistic. So I'm seeing more $1 million asks for a pre-seed, and then seed is like 2-3 million, sometimes even up to 5 million. And then after seed, you raise your Series A, and from seed onwards, you should be revenue generating. No investor is going to provide you seed funding of that amount without being sure that there's going to be an ROI, return on
Yeah,
investment.
but here we typically don't use the word pre-seed. From the bootstrapping, we go to seed fund and then the venture capitalists.
Okay.
Tommy, your venture capitalist, is that for the Series A, B, C, or not really?
No, some venture capitalists will come in as soon as you're revenue generating, because that means you've de-risked enough of the idea that people are actually buying it, and you're attracting clients. So that's all they really want to see is traction, proof that your idea is indeed something useful for them and they're willing to pay for it, for what you're charging them, because that's already proof. Um, so yeah, they can come in even as early as pre-seed, but that's going to be through a convertible note that can convert to equity, given certain triggers. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the general rule of thumb.
But I think the Philippines needs more enlightenment on those series.
I think Philippines needs an infrastructure. Like, what are all of those steps? What do you need to do as an entrepreneur in each step to be able to be successful in each step? What kind of business idea do you need to have to be eligible to get these types of funding? Do we even have? Does the Philippines even have the funding mechanisms for this? Like, is there a database of angels? Is there a database of family offices that invest in early stage companies? Is there like, how do you even identify who they are? I don't think there's like a platform for all of that, or it's very young. And I don't know that entrepreneurs are also informed on what you need to have. What does a due diligence process for an investor look like? Because some angels function more like VCs, although they'll invest earlier, but they ask for the same things. What's your legal entity? What's your credit rating? What's your financial projections? What's your, potential valuation? And granted, if you're super early stage in idea stage, there's no valuation because there's nothing to project from. There's no historical data. But they ask a lot of the same things during due diligence.
But for the VC, most likely, how much will that be? How much do they invest?
It depends on the VC, but they'll invest anywhere from 100K to 200K to 500K. If it's a lead venture capitalist, it depends on the round too. Earlier rounds are going to be much, much, much smaller. But let's talk about seed, for instance. If you're raising $5 million and you have a lead investor that's leading the round, and their job is to attract other and that and syndicate the deal to other VCs, they could invest $1 million.
I hope we can do that here in the Philippines. Yeah. Sometimes that's the hard part of it. No, most of the beautiful products or promising products in the Philippines are not commercialized in the Philippines. You can see them abroad. I know if you have heard, Tammy, of the salt lamp. The
Yeah.
salt, yeah. Isa Mejeno. Isa Mejeno is the one who was interviewed by Barack Obama and Jackman. That popularity and give her so many much of inquiries on sales, but apparently they were able to commercialize their products in Switzerland
Hmm.
because the cost of one lamp is high. It's not really
Yeah.
for poor people here, so they're out there. That's so sad,
Yeah.
no? But, I hope that ISA would be able to manufacture the products here in the Philippines, and really the social the poor people will benefit out of it. Then I'm hearing economic development company from you, no, a lot of times. So this is about social enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah, because in the Philippines we were trained by PhilDev, the one that is owned by Dado Banatao.
Okay.
I know if the ESIP is a term. Let me check. Innovation for Social Impact Partnership. And so this
Okay.
is uh, all the projects that will be uh, ideated by the students should already address the sustainable development goals. It's now mandatory in the ideation
Oh.
process. Yeah.
Okay. That's good news. I think also what's needed is if somebody invents something, that there's a place they can go to experiment with the manufacturing at no cost to them. That would be awesome because then you can
Yeah.
catch up to the manufacturing race with China. So-
That's one of the no that really that's one of the problem in the Philippines. You would be lucky enough if you'd be having we call it here an industry partner. So that's the industry partner will provide the facilities and all of the tools and of the equipments and some technical know-how so that you can really manufacture your product. But if you don't have a friend or somebody who's really help you, good luck. Your
yeah.
product will not even reach the market. Okay.
You see,
Um,
the good support that we have here in the universities is, sometimes the government will award universities a certain amount of money, and sometimes it's foundations. There's a lot of philanthropic work for or sometimes it's the university itself that will fund it. They'll have like a laboratory, where engineers can go and just experiment with their ideas, or there will be organizations led by professors, entrepreneurship professors or mentors like me, where they teach you about product development or other aspects of entrepreneurship, technology transfers, things like that. So um, that's what I refer to when there needs to be an entrepreneurship infrastructure that's built around elevating entrepreneurs.
Now maybe we're coming into that direction in the Philippines. I hope so.
Yeah,
But
hopefully.
now the universities here in the Philippines are having their own technology niche. For instance, uh, De La Salle University Animal Lab is to nanotechnology, and then we have UST into food. What's that food that is a food that we, how do you call that? Functional food and biotechnology, because UST is merging engineering with medicine. Okay, because they're strong at that. They're very strong at that.
Ah,
They're now on niches. They're now on niches.
yeah.
And then the government will fund a niche. They call it Cradle. Okay, so 5 million pesos for the niche. That's not even 5 million US dollars. If you're talking of 5 million US dollars, 5 million pesos. We're talking 5 million pesos. I think we should add Ella in the stream, because Ella will have very important questions to you. May I introduce to you Ella once? Hi, Ella once. I'll add you to the
Maria,
stream.
hello. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Alright.
Medyo ano lang, lakas mo lang na onte.
Hello.
Ella, you should not speak in Tagalog.
Actually, wow. so that so Ma'am Tammy doesn't actually understand Tagalog, Ma'am Ria. She
Marunong, I
cannot
do, but
understand.
But there are a
I
lot of viewers right now who cannot.
All right. I'll try my best. Well, I have to start now. Wow. All right.
No worries,
So,
because diba,
Ma'am
remember Ella,
Tammy.
we have
Yeah.
Rob before, our guest, the Rob Layton,
Yeah.
the American guy. He was
Yes,
able to.
I remember. I remember that. I remember
Be-
him.
Tommy, we used to have a guest. He is an American from Seattle, and he works at NASA. But now he's in the Philippines. And his alias was the master inventor, because he has so many patents and it's being manufactured
wow.
in China and some are in the Philippines. But his heart is Filipino. Okay, go ahead, Ella.
Yeah, my son is coughing, Ma'am Ria. Now, my first question for Ma'am Tammy. Hello, Ma'am Tammy. You're so pretty. While she's
Thank you.
discussing a while ago, I was staring at her face, at her personality, with a total package of aside from pretty, with brain, Ma'am Ria.
I know, that's why there's no one commenting, because all of you are just staring at
Yes,
her.
that's true.
It's very
I was just like,
unusual that you're not
wow, she's so
chatting, no?
pretty. I cannot interact on the chat because I don't want to skip staring at her face. well, Tammy, this is my first question for you. What is your best project?
Oh, my best project. Ooh, that's a very difficult question. Because I really enjoy what I do now, and it's more of a theme across what I do now. I think it's providing or knowing that in some way, shape, or form, I've been able to make an impact into a business owner's life. But if I had to make an example, it would be where well, he's not watching, but I was coaching a veteran. He was into the craft beer industry, and right off the bat, I saw, and this is where kind of my marketing comments come from. He was spending so much money on Google Ads without really having any kind of like organic content or way to drive people to him, to his website, to his products. And so the first thing that I told him to do was to stop spending all that, stop spending thousands of dollars on ads. And we kind of reworked his whole go to market strategy. And that was 3 years ago. Now he has, his own fulfillment facility. Him and his wife have been able to come full time into their own business, where in the past he was doing his business as a side project, and then his wife was working somewhere else full time. They've now hired a couple of staff for that fulfillment center, and they're now being approached by venture capitalists in terms of their needs for funding. So he's an example of displaying coachability as an entrepreneur, because it's really important that other people with different backgrounds and different experiences are able to coach an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur you're not going to know everything. So you need to be able to listen and filter out useful advice and put it into action. And I think to this day, out of all the companies that I've coached, he really took all of the feedback that he was getting from different people into his practice of how he's doing business. And I think that was life changing for him. And so I enjoy that because I saw him progress and change throughout the years.
I just have one follow up. You
Go, Ma'am
see
Ria.
how you see how the lifestyle of these people changed. I mean, from have you seen those types of I mean, like a magical thing that happened in their life, so suddenly they have to change their lifestyle. Do they
Yeah.
have to upgrade their lifestyle?
No. So what made this particular entrepreneur successful was his ability to not spend on things he doesn't need. Um, they lived very frugally because all of the money they invested back into the business. Their lifestyle has not changed 3 years ago to what it is today, and he is also very proud of that fact that they did not let lifestyle creep and overspending and spending on unnecessary things get in the way of growing their business. It was like his term to me was, as his business is growing, he's still constantly not spending. Like he used the term broke. He's not broke. He's just not spending. It's like, I'm constantly broke, even though I now have a staff of however many, and we're both full time into the business. I'm like, well, you're less broke than before. But that's because all of the money is going back into the business.
Because when me and my friends are joking about the lifestyle of a unicorn, they say that how do you know is you're already a unicorn when we already have a personal guard, security guard? Is that true?
But I mean, I would imagine Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg would have guards, but security. But for most of us who are not Mark Zuckerberg and are trying to bring, create our own unicorn businesses, really the focus should be on the business and networking with the people that can and potential clients that can help you grow the business further. Mark Zuckerberg, I think, started to get all of this publicity and his need for security and all of that. I think that happened after an initial public offering, where he has more of a defined CEO role and not wearing all of the hats as a founder. I think that comes much later in the process. Of course, you're going to be rewarded as an entrepreneur. You're just not going to be rewarded as much in the earlier years, because you still you have a lot to prove to your investors, to the stakeholders still. And if you start spending money, I encourage everybody to read about Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes. That's an example of of putting the horse, or spending the money that you don't necessarily deserve to spend yet, because her business, they were faking everything. And she's on trial now. But yeah, if you have Netflix, I think Bad Blood might be the name of the book, and the Netflix documentary. But that's an example of, I think, lifestyle creep preceding your entrepreneurial achievements. Don't do that. Don't be Elizabeth Holmes.
There's a question here from Aisha Villaroman. You mentioned, Tommy, that this entrepreneur is a veteran. You mean on the brewery industry? If I heard you mention draft beer, so it's a family business they started or inherited.
So they don't. So these are beer complements, like snacks that go well with beer, T-shirts from breweries, things like that. So they don't have a brewery. It's a subscription for beer complements that are exclusive from the local breweries. So he's a veteran. He's a military veteran. He's a vet. Um, it not veteran in terms of being a veteran in the craft brew industry, but he really grew his knowledge base in like formulating different flavors, and he worked with a lot of experts who are master craft brewers. So his vet status comes from being in the military. He's a vet.
All right. Maria, do you have any follow-up question?
Ella.
Actually,
You can
I
proceed,
learned a
Ella.
lot. Yeah, but I don't have time to write everything, Maria, word by word. Now, my next question for Ma'am Tammy is, Ma'am Tammy, do you have any regrets in life?
Again, I think it's more of a theme that I need to improve upon. Is I need to be more decisive. The speed to decision making needs to be faster. Like I said in the past, I'm an engineer, I'm an introvert. Um, and sometimes I overanalyze before making decisions. A good example, and I'm not endorsing this, if you want to do this, do it only with money that you can afford to lose. I wish I invested in Bitcoin earlier, but being an engineer, I had to know everything about it. Watch all of the YouTube videos of Andreas Antonopoulos and everything, like before I actually took a jump and invested. And when once I did, because I didn't know enough, I bought and then I exited, and then I bought and then I exited, and then one day I finally felt like, okay, I know enough. I know enough that I can stick to this long term. But I was a little bit frustrated on the amount of time that it took me. I already knew it's a confidence issue too, because if you're not confident with your decision making ability and how you're evaluating opportunity, you tend to procrastinate on making a decision. And so that's what I wish I could do faster, is decision making. And for entrepreneurs and founders, you absolutely need to be decisive. Once you've made a decision, you have to kind of stick to it, because your team will lose motivation if you keep dilly dallying on a decision or not really making a decision, because you're not really leading at that point. So you have to be decisive, I think, and be able to stick to your decision, unless it's really really wrong and you really need to change that decision. But if for minor things, make a decision, run with it.
All
There's
right.
a
Thank you,
question,
Ma'am
Ella,
Tammy.
there's a
Yeah.
question from Ronel.
Yes. Thank you, Sir Ronel. Ma'am Tammy, there's a question from Sir Ronel Ramos. Which is more rewarding, coaching a veteran or a newbie?
Newbie. Because with somebody who has had more experience in the past when it comes to startups, um, they tend to carry over what they've done in the past, which may not even apply to what they're trying to do now. Um, so I see that some of the entrepreneurs that I coach who have either past experience or have already their minds made up about a certain thing, they're very, very hard to coach. And the ones who are harder to coach, tend to not take feedback well, or they want to do their own thing, even though three people are already saying that that's not going to work, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. They tend to either need a longer time to realize it for themselves because they're not listening to the advice. So they have to experience the failure themselves, which is frustrating for me as a coach because I could have told you that 6 months ago, but you didn't listen. So for me, actually coaching somebody who's a first time founder or new to the space or new to the skill set that they're trying to do or new to whatever it is actually easier because they're learning for the first time, as opposed to somebody who has done something 20 years ago or has done some variety of a function in their previous role, because it's harder to maneuver them. I actually have found that letting them fail is the fastest way for them to learn. So sometimes instead of insisting that that's not going to work because of A, B, and C, I actually, all right, go do it. Go do it in this scale. I try to work with their idea, but have them scale it down so that the failure will be smaller and they're not investing a lot of money or time or resources into it because I can kind of foresee it's going to fail. That's the beauty of coaching multiple companies is I've seen different founders execute on the same thing. Some will win, some will lose. And I can kind of see what works and what doesn't because I've seen it over and over. I mean, I've coached over 60 entrepreneurs already. So I can kind of, I already have that instinct that, okay, this is not going to work in this industry. You have to do it in a different way, sort of advice to them.
All right. There's a message here from Aisha Villaroman. Great being decisive. Yun. And somebody
It's
shouted
hard
here,
to be
ayan, mega love
decisive,
shout
ah. It's
out
hard to be
and
decisive.
helpful. Yes, Maria. Thank you, Sir Ronel. Ayan, very supportive si Sir Ronel. Yan, so I have a next question for Ma'am Tammy. Oh, there is additional question, Ma'am Ria.
It
It
means that
means that
sometime in
sometimes.
opportunity recognition, you have to trust your instinct.
Yes, but you also need to have an objective way of validating it. But most of the time, your first instinct, especially if you're from that industry or from that field, you already know what the problem is. That's why you're coming up with a solution to solve it. But if you're not in that industry, um, I would say trust your instinct less and actually validate it through objective means and customer discovery.
Okay. So, my next question for Ma'am Tammy, Ma'am Ria is, what is your best and most significant investment?
Bitcoin.
These
That's
are
why I cited that.
these universe questions.
Um, um, my most significant investment, I think, has been because my life wouldn't be where it is if I didn't take risks. Risk, and in the sense that take a risk to continually improve myself. That has been the most impactful investment for me outside of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a monetary investment. This one was a time and resource and self improvement type of investment. And that's a forever thing.
Okay. So, Maria, do you have a follow-up question for Ma'am Tammy?
Go ahead, Ella.
All right, all right. And so my next question for you, Ma'am Tammy, is this is something different. May we know who is your hero or your idol or your mentor or someone you mirror your life with?
Uh, there's not one specific person. I've taken lessons from, you know, Dale Carnegie's book, for example, or Robert Kiyosaki's book, or yeah, like I tend to pick things that work for me. Um, I just like to read and inform myself on how to handle certain situations. And one of hmm, I can't think of one specific person. It's usually a combination of people or a combination of like books that I've read. Um, yeah, I'm not going to give you a pageant answer there. I'm not going to say a certain beauty queen's name because, I tend to look up to people who who create environmental, social impact and improve the rest of humanity. That's kind of what um, tend to look at as like as a role model. Somebody that does something good for society. And we have a lot of those people. So I think um, certain people for certain things is kind of like like, for example, and you're probably going to get, I'm probably going to get some comments about this, but I actually admire Greta Thunberg's outspokenness about climate change and the environmental degradation that we are now facing for somebody who's so young. And also Malala for advocating education for girls in her home country. So different things from different people are very inspiring to me. Um, and these are people who, you know, try to improve the world, so to speak, or a facet of humanity, or or their community. It could be something as small as community based, family based, but in the terms of the examples, they're very very young women, but also very impassioned about their cause. So I tend to admire that strength of character and the will to pursue a purpose that's like beyond themselves.
All right, what a great answer, Maria. I'm expecting that her answer is her mother, like that, Maria. But this time I heard something unique answer. Now, my next question for you, Ma'am Tammy, is what else you want to achieve or what else remains undone?
Women's equality remains undone in so many ways when it comes to opportunity. Do you know that most businesses are started by women now, at least in the United States, but most venture capital funding is held, 99% of them are held by white males. So I would like to see more women venture capitalists. I would like to see more women companies funded. I would like to see women be given the merit that they deserve and not be regarded as a bulldozer when they do get it. There needs to be more women in STEM fields because STEM fields create innovation. They create high paying jobs. There needs to be more support for that. Um, Equal rights. Women should have as much autonomy when making personal decisions as men, but sometimes our laws prevent that because laws are not equal for both genders. I think there's a lot to be done in the case of women's equality and women's opportunity, and women becoming on par. Like, it shouldn't be regarded as bad if you are more ambitious versus, wanting to have a family. So we tend to admire, oh, she's a mother, she takes care of a child, but then we tend to say that, oh, she's a bulldozer if the woman says that, I don't want to have a child, I want to have a business. So I think, but we don't look at men that way. So I think there needs to be just a level playing field for women in general when it comes to education, when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to how we make decisions. It's a very, very deep subject. I'd actually like to know Professor Ria's take on this, because she's an example. So she's probably has a lot of thoughts on this matter.
Yes. Actually, we had one of our guests before, about a month ago, from UN, We Empower Women in the Philippines. She's working here in the Philippines. Also, our audience is very much familiar with the seven objectives of WEPs, which is part of the Pinoy Hen, yun, no? Pinahulaan na. We let our viewers um, guess those seven objectives of We Empower. And also last March we had the Women's International Month, right? March. So we had a 1 month length of talks about women and gender and development. You know what, uh, Tommy, if when you're into the startup space and you're a woman, automatically you're making an impact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yes. So it's very different if it's a woman, really. So you and all the rest of the people there, me and of course Ella, we want to build that awareness for women, and I'm so happy that that's your advocacy.
Took me a while. It took me a while. I think we all come to a point where we try to realize, what our purpose is and what brings us the most joy. Because we, as women too, again, like more confidence in ourselves, right? And for men too, some men, we tend to value ourselves based on, you know, possessions. Like, do I have the latest cell phone? What's the amount on my paycheck? We never think about, well, what will give you joy? What will allow you to fulfill a purpose? So I think that takes a lot of maturity to come to that conclusion, and how you're even gonna perform and get yourself into that field of whatever that is.
All right, we're staring at you, Tammy. We're staring at you. Yeah.
All right. So, Maria, my next question for Ma'am Tammy is also a different question, no? Ma'am Tammy, if you are not who you are right now, then who would you be?
I'm gonna be an astronaut. I've always wanted to be an astronaut.
Wow, Maria.
I wanted to be a scientist, an astronomer or an astronaut, that can explore worlds. I am a Trekkie. I love Star Trek, Star Wars too, but I like Star Trek a little better. I used to have all of the DVDs before this digital revolution. I would be an astronaut.
It's so exciting to be a scientist. In fact, I never thought I'd be one. I don't know the definition of scientist. I know a scientist goes to the outer space and study the different stars out there. That's how I envision scientists to be. But when you are into science and you're inventing, you're a scientist. Or a scientist.
Yeah.
But in the Philippines, we have, of course, scientists that are national scientists, for instance. These are people who are more of research people who do publications. So many publications
Mhm.
are science people. And then on the other side of the being a scientist is the artists, the creative arts, which is I'm so happy to be part of that as well. This is my this is Tommy my latest journey being in the creatives. Also because of technology. So because of technology.
Yes, Ma'am Ria. Finally, down to the last question. Ma'am Tammy, our last question for you. We're so excited. My last question for you is, how can you help the feminine genius and advocacy of Dr. Ria Liza?
Oh, I'm very happy to answer any questions that any audience member might have. Um, um, you know, about their business, about entrepreneurship, about the journey. Uh, be part of groups. People can message me. So yeah, I'm very happy to continue supporting the feminine genius and in all of its endeavors. I'm very accessible. Um, if you would give me a couple minutes, because my laptop charge is almost out, I'm gonna go run and grab my
It's
charger.
okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So put us on spotlight first, Bot.
Wow, that was
Grabe.
wonderful, Ma'am Ria. I can't
Yeah.
believe I was able to. Just kidding.
I just couldn't imagine all our viewers are just staring at her. Okay, so
Actually, I wanted to shout out, Ma'am Kat, where are you? I can't move on. Ah,
okay.
ang ganda niya, Ma'am Ria. Tapos parang the way she talks, parang, alam mo yun, lahat ng sasabihin niya, papakinggan mo talaga. Tapos, yun na, tama yung sinabi mo na plus factor pa yung beauty niya. Para ka nang, wala ka nang masasabi, kundi makinig ka lang na makinig.
Very smart si ano very smart talaga. Kaya ngayon, that's what Miss Cathy had said. Cathy is the friend of, yung siya yung kinasabi ni, Tommy is telling about Cathy, the person I think that is responsible for for introducing Tommy in the modeling world, and then it goes straight being a title holder, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, kaya pala. Shoutout ko lang si Sir Ramos, si Sir Ronel Ramos. Kasi talagang sumubaybay siya. Thank you, Sir Ronel. Actually, kakamit ko lang niya today kasi, di ba, nag-back to grad school na ako. Ayun, napaka-friendly niya at saka parang siya yung pinaka-leader ng isang section namin kanina. Hello, mega love shoutout Sir Ronel Ramos. Thank you for tuning in. And of course, sa Team Helpful, ayun si Sis Chichay Channel. Kanina pa siya shoutout na shoutout ng mga emojis. And si Young Loves din, nandyan. Actually, si Sis Chofi kanina, parang chini-cheer pa nila ako, ma'am. Kasi nga, di ba, parang sabi ko, oh my God, hindi ba siya nakakaintindi ng Tagalog? Mag-i-English ako nito. Sabi ni Sis Chofi, oh, go Sis Ella, chini-cheer nila ako, ma'am. And then si Sir Ronel din, sabi ni Sir Ronel sa akin, oh, go Ma'am Ella. Ayan, kasi sabi ko, nagising pa sila. Ayan.
I
Yun.
think Tommy is already in the backstage.
Ayun.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I forgot to bring my charger down with me.
Okay. Ma'am
Yeah,
Ria,
Kathy is good thing about Tammy is she's very open to an opportunity and very teachable.
teachable. Wow.
Yeah, she was the one who invited me to join modeling. I'm like, what?
Yeah, yeah. We're talking
Serious?
about her actually a while
Hello,
ago.
Catherine. Mega love shout out to Catherine Reyes. Ayan. Thank you for the support. And Ma'am Ria, I would
You're
like to
done there,
thank
right?
again Sir Ronel Ramos. Ayan, he's still here.
Okay,
So
so this is
back, yeah,
we will
Ma'am
let you
Ria.
know Tammy, when we need your help, especially in the future, no, when we can already do a lot of projects. Right now, we cannot ever ECQ or ECQ. We don't know what kind of queue is coming up already. Okay, so thank you for that, Tammy. We'll go to Pinoy Henyo in our private chat. You can write 5 significant words that you have significantly mentioned during your discussion, and our viewers will guess that, and they will receive a GCash from Ella once. Okay. So habang nagsusulat while you're writing the questions, Ella, you can do shout out for those people that hadn't um we haven't recognized yet. Hello, young loves you, and hello, Max. I saw you, Max. Max, this is already
I think
a
Max
Pinoy
is
Henyo, ha, Max.
asleep.
Bawi, Max.
All right, Ma'am Ria. I'd like to shout out uh, Aisha Villaroman. Ayan. Um, I think the emoji that she sent here is a ribbon. Thank you for tuning in. Also, Catherine Reyes, thank you for the support. Thank you for tuning in and for staying up to this moment. And thanks for the thumbs up, Aisha. Also, I would like to shout out Sohina Team Helpful. That's Chichay Channel. Also, Sir Ronel Ramos. I'm so thankful, sir, for having us here tonight, for supporting Dr. Eliza, for up to this moment you're still there. Thank you for tuning in. And please Ma'am Kat and other Team Helpful members. Ayan, mega love shout out to the Team Helpful. Young Labs. Um ISO, Mashowbiz lang, and um we have Team Helpful. I think that's in the person of Young Labs or AR Zante TV. Also, I saw Ma'am Ella and Chofi, my love. Ayan, Chofi's my world. Thank you for cheering me a while ago. Thank you for tuning in and for always supporting Dr. Realiza's channel every Saturday, 9 p.m. And I know that there are new friends here na nagsusupport, no? We have Ivy Villase. Also, Ma'am Erlinda Cadillo, ayan, thank you for tuning in. And Sir Javier Centeno. Also, the Team Helpful Supporter, thank you so much. Ma'am Aligori, Fable 1005. Also, of course, we have Mixed Vlogs by Sir Phil. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Max Vlog. I almost forgot Max Vlog. Ayan. So, I think kung meron akong hindi na shoutout, kindly PM me so that I
Yeah.
can shout out everyone who are there in the Facebook Live kasi I cannot see the names to those who are viewers there in the Feminine Genius Live at Facebook of Dr. Realiza. So please shout out your name so that I can mention you and I can include you in the attendance because Maria will be having a grand raffle on December to those who are very supportive on her channel every Saturday. Back to you, Maria.
Yes, and of course, to our viewers, don't forget your raffle entry. Screenshot your comments and send that in our, wait, I'll have a banner. And please join the raffle. You can see the link down there. Onlineraffleph.com/search underscore event. Our raffle draw is on the last September of this month because this is our anniversary month. And what's in
Wow.
store is a bicycle, a bike. Stay healthy, bike, okay? So, punta lang tayo sa link. Let's go to the link. Have a screenshot of your comments. So, every Saturday, you have one raffle entry. Every comment, every Saturday, okay? So, back to our Pinoy Henyo. Okay, everybody, sana you were able to listen carefully and not just stare at the beautiful face of our guest. Na i-starstruck sila. Okay, so, um, get ready, guys. Get ready. Okay, there is need to learn certain ideas before they can learn better. Thank you for that
Yeah.
comment,
Thank you, Ma'am
allegory, and of
Allegory.
course
Ma'am
the
Catherine
comment
also.
of Catherine. I
Pleasure
love
is
watching and
mine.
hearing beautiful minds. Yeah. Thank you, Catherine.
And Sir
Okay.
Ronel, thanks din po.
Yes. Okay, so we have 5 words, and you will give the clue, Pami, pero not so easy clue, ah.
Okay.
Hard clue. Okay, so word number 1.
Okay. For word number one, this this represents the ability of a business to grow beyond beyond just the entrepreneur. And this is an aspect or a trait of a business that allows a business to be able to return the investment tenfold, for example, of an investor. What is that aspect? What does your business need to have to be able to do this? That's the first word. Nope, nope. This is part of when you're describing a business model. Um, it needs to have this straight. Yes, Bon, I think you can. Yeah.
Yes, Bon, you can answer. Ella is also answering.
Then answer.
You need to have blank to be able to use funding and return funding. You need to be able to have blank. No, nobody's getting it. Oh, yeah, we got it.
Oh, I don't know that term, Ma'am Ria. Just kidding.
Scalability. Okay, so
Scalability.
congrats,
Your
Yeah.
Bon.
your product needs
Congrats,
to be
Sir Bon.
scalable. Congrats.
Okay. Word number 2.
Word number two. This is the process in which you are validating the idea with its target audience. Validating the idea with its intended target audience. What do you need to conduct? What is that set of processes that you need to be able to do? It is a blank process.
I think that's a difficult word.
It's not commonly talked about, but you have to be able to do this process so that whenever you're pitching, when potential investors ask you, uh, you know, did you do this? Or what is your blank process to validate the idea? It's actually 2 words. This
Two
is
words.
when 2 words. This is the process where you are trying to enlist um, your ideal target, who would be a future client, paying client of your business, and you're testing out the idea on them and getting what their take is on the idea, getting their feedback. Is this something that's going to work for you? And they tell you what they need. It's not branding, it's not strategy. Aisha's close, but that's not quite it. But she's close. When you're trying to learn the habits and how your product or service is going to be used by your target client. What is that research process called? Target marketing is what goes after that. But for you to know your target, what is that process? For you to identify who the target should be. Or if you don't know who, or if you have an intuition of who the target is, and you still need to validate it, what do you need to conduct? So, for example, you can do this process by doing a survey. You can have interview questions. You can have I just close. Feasibility takes into account the business model, but not. This one is more focused than this. This focuses on the audience. Who's the potential client? Who will buy this product from you? Not market research. It's part of market research for sure, but market research is more broad. This is a part of market research that focuses on getting that feedback from your potential. Because market research means that you did all of the total addressable market and all of those calculations. This does not include that. This focuses more on either surveys and getting answers, interviews and getting answers. Give up?
Mahira. Maybe you can ask them to guess first the first word and then the second word.
Ooh, Ronel almost got it, but he missed the second word. It's a combination of Ronel, Aisha, and Mom Cat's answer. The process of Ronel, it's the process of doing that. Because it can take many forms. It can be a survey, it can be an interview, it could be an experiment out in the field where you show somebody and you ask them, do you like this or this? Would you pay for this or not? So, yeah, you have one of the words, but not quite customer data. What do you, okay, not customer feedback. She's close. What do you do? What is the process of getting customer feedback, interviews, customer data, analyzing that data, getting the survey? You have to conduct. Ronel, you're so close. You have to conduct. You're missing just one word.
Go, you can do that.
I think it's the second word that's tripping people up because it's not a commonly used term. But my clue for the second word is it's a very popular channel where you can watch animal behavior. And it's not National Geographic. First word is yes and no, because product focuses just on the product. This focuses on whether the client will also pay for that. Yes, we got it.
Galing. Okay.
Galing.
Okay, so word number 3. Galing. Word number 3.
This is going to be very, very easy. It's an acronym. And this is we want more women in this field. What is that field called? It's a combination of multiple things, that field. We wish we had more women entering blank fields. It's an acronym. So, Professor Ria and I will be included in that field. Scientists will be included in that field. Pageant CEO, no. This is a set of subject areas in school, in university and colleges. Nope, not HRM. We it's a collection of technical fields that usually men are the most. You're getting close, Momcat, but not quite. This is an acronym. It's not academe. That's academe is a little too broad. Science is a little too narrow. Inventors usually come from this field. IT professionals come from this field also. It's a collection of fields. What is that most commonly referred to? If you want, for example, if you want a visa sponsorship to work in the US, you can get sponsored if you are in one of these fields. In other countries too, they will actually sponsor people to come into their countries if you are either one of these 4 fields. So it's a collection of 4 things. And the acronym stands for those 4 things.
We have that here in, I think, in high school. The track. We have the track.
It's a track, yes. Yeah. Research. Entrepreneurs can you and innovators come from this track. Oh, okay. Okay. We got it.
Team Helpful. AR Zante, I think, or Young Loves. Okay, next word.
Next word is actually 2 words. We want to promote this gender specific advocacy. What is the advocacy? When you want to increase participation of this group of people, it's a group of people, and we want them to achieve something by giving them the tools and the support. So, what is Aisha's close? Which gender, and how can that gender be more supported? Like if you yourself were more confident, what do you ultimately achieve?
It's an easy word. Easy word. Go. It's easy word. Go pa, go pa. Very near.
What is the other word for female? Or yeah, another word for female, and another. How do you achieve equality? By doing what? Okay, mom cat, you have half. We need the other half. What do we want women to do? What do we want
Two
women
words.
to? It's not equality. You need this to be able to achieve equality.
You know that, Ma'am Kat.
There,
Ayun.
oy,
Yeah.
mom cat got it.
Yeah. She knows that very well.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, next word.
The last word is, you will be happy if you had a blank driven life. Or this is, being led by something bigger than yourself, something that helps you achieve uh, this is hard to describe even for me, because this is an adjective. It's an adjective. um, Not. Ooh. Oh, somebody got it. I can't believe they got it.
Because you
Yes.
said the book. It's the book, right?
Yeah,
You
it is
mentioned
a
part
book.
of the
Yeah.
book, right?
Yeah.
All
I'm glad I
right.
got it.
So, congratulations to all the winners, and wait for your GCash. Now, Tommy, can you show us some talent? May I just, yeah, your talent during your competition.
What was my talent? Oh my gosh. I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to do much entertaining. So I think I did drama. Like it was a monologue. I don't even remember the. I don't remember the lines. Um,
How
I
about
can
a
make.
catwalk?
I'm wearing sweatpants under because you're only gonna see from here up.
Yeah.
So I can I just show you my baby?
Yeah,
That's a
sure, sure,
talent.
sure. Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
was able to produce a baby. I'll go get her.
I think
You
it
want?
cannot be right. Wait, Tommy. Ella,
Yeah.
babies allowed?
Oh,
Ella,
are babies allowed?
baby cannot, no?
I think
Ella,
yeah.
can she show?
And
Cannot.
Oh, I can't
yeah.
show a baby. I can. Well, I can have my husband say hi.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure, your husband. Yeah,
Sure.
could be.
Can't show babies. It's an adult kind of content. YouTube has weird rules. But he came with a baby.
It's a toddler.
But we can show you. Can you say hi? Save me from a talent competition request, please. Come here.
I got this stuff.
Come on. Oh, he's shy. He-
Maybe
Shy.
Maria, a room tour,
Ano sabi nila? Oh, house tour daw, oh.
house tour.
Okay, yeah, I can give a house tour provided that my laptop doesn't. Okay, let me detach my laptop. So this is actually a house. We bought it in April, so it's still kind of a bit of a mess because of COVID. We have pending furniture that's like, it takes 8 months for the backlog of the furniture. So there's boxes everywhere, but in general, this is my favorite part of the house is the entrance. Sorry about the mess. And oh, I can show you. The kitchen is also a bit of a mess because I'm renovating the garage. But yeah, it's sorry about the mess. It's having kids and there's yeah, we're still missing a lot of furniture. We don't have dining chairs yet. My favorite part of the house is the deck. Uh, because
nice.
we have space in the back. Of the I might need to get closer to the internet. This is the dining area, fridge behind me. So it's very, very messy. But this is one of my things that I like about this house is the not the house that I decorated the house with. If you can see behind me, that's all Capiz shells, imported
Yeah,
from Philippines, made in Philippines.
yeah. Very nice.
So that's the dining behind me. That's super messy. And then this is the we even have a folding bed there. This is the like home office area. I don't have it set up yet, but and then there's the whole upstairs where the bedrooms are. I'm gonna go upstairs, and I like this wall a lot because it's called shiplap. You see how it's like what if you were to board a ship back in the day, maybe in the 1800s, that's what you would see.
Yeah.
This is the master. And I'll stop here because everything else is very, very messy. But as you can see, it's a mess. I didn't have time to do sheets and my bathroom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ganda ng
So, yeah, you-
bathroom.
And the toilet has its own door behind me. And the baby's following me, but I'm not going to show her. But yeah, and the rest of the bedrooms are not really set up yet. They're just empty, sort of. So that's that. I am now going downstairs.
What's the age of your baby, Tammy?
She's 19 months old.
Oh. And 19 months, he can go to the stairs by herself
Yeah,
or himself.
she can crawl. She can crawl up the stairs,
Oh.
but she can't come down yet.
All right.
Cute.
All right. Thank you for those very generous house tour. It's like we're in North Carolina right now.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Tammy. It's almost 12 o'clock. I know you're busy. Just for your last word, may I just ask you this question? What it takes for a beautiful person like you to have substance?
Oh, I think self-awareness. I think at some point we kind of evaluate ourselves, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what are, again, knowing what purpose we want to serve, and actually being true to oneself in that purpose. I think that's what drives substance. So yeah, I think it's just a lot of honesty and transparency in pursuing the purpose that you want. That's my husband.
And we saw him.
Yeah, he's super daddy. He takes care of everybody. When I'm too tired, he steps in. He really is. We saw you.
He's so handsome.
Yeah.
He's Ukrainian. He
Oh.
likes soccer.
Because I think all of the people in that country are beautiful and handsome. I think the handsomest persons are in that country.
In Ukraine, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So thank you very much, Tammy. It was so really nice
Thank you.
to have this talk, no, after so many years. Kaso we have already have a discussion last night, di ba?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's different. It's the first time right now. We'll have more gossiping.
Yeah, next time we chat, definitely.
Yeah, okay. And thank you for all.
Hello, Ma'am Ria.
We lost you.
Your audio. You have no audio, Ma'am Ria. Yan.
Na pala ako. Okay, so ang dami ko sinabi. Wala pala ako audio. And we'd like to thank those people from Lyceum who watch and the Facebook and also here at YouTube, because right now we have 61 viewers, and there will be more viewers to come, no, because some will be accessing late, of course. But this is a very important topic. Thank you. We've seen it's a very important input for, especially in my job, being the director for the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship here in National University. And we hope to be, maybe in the future, we'll be inviting you to enlighten us about funding, about financial forecasting, etc., valuation. Okay. Um, Thank you, Tammy, and may your stay safe, of course. How's COVID in your place? How's COVID in your place?
Well, we're having school shutdowns because masks are optional, and so now you have 1,500 students and staff being quarantined. So it's not good.
Oh, I see. Okay. But you're vaccinated, right? Most of you are
I'm
vaccinated?
vaccinated. Most of the people dying or in critical condition in hospitals, 99% of them are unvaccinated. And so that's how they're landing in the hospitals. It's because the Delta variant is pretty strong. So without the vaccination, it could be fatal.
Yes, correct. I agree. Because I'm supposed to have one guest who suddenly died of COVID.
Oh no.
She's supposed to guess, right? She's an inventor. She was not able to pass on the formula yet. And she died.
Mm. Oh no.
We're supposed to put the products in because Feminine Genius has our own e-commerce platform, the Anything Goes that shop, so that the members of the Feminine Genius can sell the products. No? That's life. Okay, so thank you, Tammy.
Thank you,
Hope to see you
Professor Ria. Thank you, Ella. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, Ma'am Tammy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, Bon.
Nakakatuwa
Come on,
naman
join
siya.
us.
Nakaka-hypnotize naman yung ni aura ni Ma'am Tammy.
When she's answering, when she's talking, all I can do is just stare at her. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at her.
Ganun din ako. Hindi na ako nagno-notes, ma'am.
Si Ma'am Kat din, hindi na nag-notes. I think ito si Ma'am Kat is, nanood na lang. Kahawig
Thank
daw
you,
niya
Sir
si
Ronel.
Catriona Gray.
Ma'am Ria, I listed the active participants in the Pinoy Henyo a while ago. And one of the active participants na sumagot is si Sir Ronel and si Catherine Reyes. Ayun, sila yung dalawa na hindi nanalo, pero active. So baka
English
bigyan
daw.
natin sila. English po, ma'am. Ma'am Ria, there's 2 more active participants who participated a while ago who don't have any, what do you call this? Who don't belong in the winners. So I listed them because I want them to receive a GCash tomorrow.
Okay, very nice. Okay. So,
Ma'am Kat, okay ba?
English nga. Okay, Bon, would you like to join us before we leave? I would like to thank Bon, of course, for the rebranding, no? For the rebranding of the Feminine Genius, um, and our guest Tammy mentioned about branding, the importance of branding, how it's very timely that we decided to do it now. Actually, talagang I have to do it now because of Tammy. Siyempre, world class ang ano natin, world class ang visitor siya. Dapat world class ang ating brand. Okay, so um, thank you, Bon. I think we will miss you next week, so you will be again with us next week. Dapat co-host ka na, Bon, eh, di ba? Di ba,
I'll think
no?
about it.
Okay. So, thank you, and I hope that you enjoy our show for tonight. Next week, marami tayong mga videos, etc. Di ba? May ginagawa si Bon na videos.
Please
And
don't forget po may paraffle si Ma'am Ria. Please
don't forget,
to drop the link.
yes,
Ma'am Ria,
before
where's
we
the
leave
link?
now, sige, sabihin mo na, Ella. Before we leave, we're about to end, guys. We're about to end. So please, screenshot your comment and access the link. Where's the link? Wait. The
Where's the
link
link?
is here. Okay, the
At the
link
bottom part
is at the bottom
of the
part,
screen.
onlineraffleph.com/search_event.
Event.
Patapos na po tayo. So please, before we end, you take a screenshot and then you can register later. You can register later. The most important thing is that you capture the screenshot of your comment, of course. And you should be a subscriber. Okay? And then go back again next Saturday. And then we have, aside from this Saturday, we have 2 more Saturdays for you to join the raffle. The prize would be a bike.
Yeah, Ma'am Ria, before I could forget, if Aisha Villaroman and Sir Ronald Ramos, kindly, if you're still there, kindly type your GCash number, because the rest of the winners, I have a GCash number of them. So Aisha Villaroman and Ronald Ramos. Sir Ronel, kindly type your GCash number. Nag-English na din si Ma'am Ella. Yes, Ma'am Gat, kasi I think Aisha Villaroman is also, I think, English era.
The link of the raffle is on the screen. Ma'am Kat, type the link.
Thank you, Ma'am Kat, for dropping the link.
All right, Bon, would you like to say something?
Okay, Sir Ronel.
Hope you like the new brand. So, congratulations again for the show.
Thank you. Yes, we like the brand so much. Okay, and hope that this branding would bring us to places.
Yes, I hope
Yeah.
to. Please don't forget to subscribe to Dr. Realiza's channel and Ella Ones. And also, Sir Bon, you have your channel, right? Yeah, I forget the channel name of
Yes,
Sir Bon. Kindly mention.
just go to YouTube and look for Bon Labora.
Bon Labora.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who are new, please do not forget to subscribe. Dr. Realiza and Ella Wans and Bon Labora. Thank you, Ma'am Kat. Galing daw ni
Also to
Sir
Ma'am
Bon.
Kat. Ma'am Kat is the Ma'am Kat. That's your main channel, right?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Bon. Thank you. Hindi daw ako nakatulog because of the branding.
Ang
Ang
dami
dami
na
ko
Thank
kasi
you,
naisip
na-imagine na
na
branding.
product. So.
May naisip
Okay.
na t-shirt, merchandise.
Dami ko nakita. And then Father Ben, baka nandiyan si Father Ben watching. And then the Father Ben chatted me. He said, "Are you still sleeping, Ria?" Sabi ko, "I think my body doesn't want to sleep." And then Father Ben told me, there is a law, there is a physical law that you cannot oppose. Time will come when this will go back to you. All of the things that you do will go back to you. Sabi ko, okay,
Yes.
Father, I'll try
So,
to
sleep
think.
na.
I'll be healthy next time. Ano daw, ayan. Dan, please follow, Please follow our YouTubes. Okay, Ella, anything else you want to say?
Chichay Uni, Chichay channel is here. I know, still awake. Um, uh, Please don't forget Aisha Villaroman, your Gcash number. Baka I might not be able to give your price if you don't chat your Gcash number.
Yeah, we're about to end. So please screenshot because we don't have a replay of the comments. We don't have a replay. So yeah, no replay for the comment section. So please screenshot already. We're about to end. Your screenshot is needed for you to have a raffle. Entry. Okay,
So
it's time to
finally,
go. Yeah. Again, we're 21 minutes late. Last time it's
yeah,
1 hour. Last time it's 1 hour.
yeah.
Okay, so thank you again, Bon. Thank you so much. We love our colors. We love how we look right now. I don't know how I can keep it up if you're not there. My God. Okay. Thank you, Ronel. Thank you, Chichay. Thank you, Sis Chov. Ardida Cadillo, Javier Centenary. Of course,
Thank you,
Tita
Ma'am Kat.
Centeno. Thank you, Rain Rose Channel. I saw Jeannie.
Si
Okay, Jeannie is
Broads
there.
din.
Yeah.
Jeannie the
Max
Fishing
Vlog.
Channel. Yeah,
And of course,
Max
Young
Vlog.
Loves is there. Baka
Yes.
may nakalimutan tayo magtampo. Allegory. Hello,
Ma'am
Allegory.
Allegory, of course.
And who else? Of course, Mom Cat and
Actually,
Chichay.
Batgirl May Force,
Yeah,
part of
Batgirl.
the Team Helpful. Rocky Cleofas, I don't know him, but
No, he's from
I
Lyceum.
wrote him
He's a
in the
classmate of
attendance.
he's a
Also
classmate of
Bob, and
classmate of
then
Tommy.
um Provinciana in Australia. She was there a while ago. And
Okay.
Tambok nga sexy. I think there's a
I
channel
don't
like
know
that.
who is that person, pero
Yeah.
hello to you. Hope nakasubscribe ka na. Okay, so in the count of 3.
3,
Ay, mali. 3. Mali. 3, 2,
2,